Just the idea that any of these people are virtue signaling about harm to kids. Bro, you're YouTubers. You probably hurt kids more than anyone else on the planet. Are we talking about the same Mutaha right now? Some ordinary gamers Mutaha, Dojangles Mutaha, that Mutaha. A hot take on everything.
No, yeah, the anger is good. It's not like it clouds your judgment and obstructs critical thinking. The anger is good.
What are you hiding, Mutaha? What are you hiding? Or just lie about it? Well, there's no evidence here, so I wouldn't want to jump to making clue, but what is Mutaha hiding here? Oh, dude, you just love it when everyone you hate is tearing each other apart. So MamaMax is back. You may remember, a long time ago now, over a year and a half ago or something, MamaMax was exposed to being a completely fake hunter or something. For some reason, absolute morons, idiots, meaning the entire commentary community and Mutaha, thought MamaMax was actually catching. For some reason, they all thought that, because I guess they just watch videos totally vacantly, like drone NPC losers, and never check anything. And then the moment someone starts using accusations of against them or their friends, they immediately bend over and yield and just never question anything because they're too scared to fight the guy. Wow, very very curious. Surely they don't exhibit the exact same behavior now. Surely they don't constantly exhibit the exact same behavior in like every drama that has any remote similarity to this. Surely Muta still isn't this guy. Surely Muta didn't have... What was it? So, we had MamaMax. That was one friend who he claimed he'd looked into, who he actually hadn't. Who he supported loads, but he actually shouldn't have. And then he had to disavow. And then we had Nux Taku. The exact same thing happened again. And now, Cole Jobst is losing a defamation lawsuit, when Muta has just done a joint investigation and been accused of kind of embellishing the story. Yeah, we were all assured by many people, Muta's fine, Muta's fine. Muta does investigations. Wait for Muta's Keffel's investigation. That's going to be awesome. So we were all assured so many times this was a great source, Mutaha, a great source. I'm sure people like Willie Mac think he's a very intelligent guy. But absolutely got blindsided somehow by MamaMax. Despite being on his podcast. Dude, there was so much... Who remembers Mutaha being on his podcast talking about how he watched Max's response video to the abuse allegations he had against him. And Mutaha saying how they were all lying and that how all the women were making it up. And then it all comes back round. He's like, well, I guess that's not true. It's like, dude, you're such an idiot. You really are. Like, Mutaha is such an idiot, wretched. He also wants to talk about, oh, there's so much anti-Indian hate, and everyone's such a political grifter now. But he cries about Hassan when his best buddy Nux Taku is out there pumping out endless pro-Trump content on his channel. And fucking Oompy is putting out just like the dumbest videos every week. It's like, it's just so crazy, man. It's so crazy.
Hey everyone, welcome to the year late.
Anyway, yeah, we're gonna just start this video now. MamaMax is here to slander Mutaha, hopefully. Give us something to hate him for.
Cancellation response video. This is a very dense video, so I've divided it into 5 main sections. Introduction and recap, Night Docs, Nexpo, and Mutahar, Spencer's allegations, personal questions, and Belfgor. With that said, let's go and have fun. Hi, hello. Why should we trust you? There's 2 sides to every story, and I'm sure you've gotten hundreds of one side. But there's still a whole other side you haven't seen yet, but that's gonna change. What happened? That's a lot to explain. So, a survivor reached out to me for help regarding a case of an alleged cult leader and child predator, and asked me if I could platform them to tell their story. So I was just going to start a new format where we platform the survivors and let them have a voice. But I quickly realized that we needed help given the gravity of this case, and the purpose of our campaign evolved to find more survivors in order.
So, for those of you who don't remember, obviously the central case in all of this was the case of Camden Gerard Davis, the black werewolf vampire, who was starting a werewolf vampire cult allegedly. Except that's not really what was happening at all. It was like some retarded internet LARP shit on the Whisper messaging platform, and then he might have met up with, like, Spencer at one point. I think Spencer lived with him briefly. But it really was not what it was cracked up to be by Max from what any of the evidence showed. There was like nothing substantiating the idea that any of this was worth looking into.
Order to build a criminal case against the accused party, since he was still active.
Can I speak to Officer badge number?
And so I reached out.
Like, do we remember this? Oh yeah, dude, this video, there was like this and a bunch of other stuff, I think, that was in that evidence server. Do you guys? I don't know who remembers the whole story. You have to go back and watch the content if you don't remember it. But there was the Pontius person, the like mentally disabled freak leaker, who like leaked all the stuff to like me and like I think someone else, and like. Dude, this is in the evidence server. I remember like the day getting that leaked and going through and censoring it with like CP and Reservoir and shit. And just seeing shit like this and knowing how funny this was going to be when people saw it, man. It's so good.
Out to institutions, journalists, lawyers, and experts in the field of cold psychology.
The leader uses these techniques to gain undue influence over his or her followers. We've often referred to this as brainwashing or mind control.
Dude.
But most notably, I reached out to my peers on YouTube. The most influential among them was Charlie.
Oh, Halo music. Oh, dude. I hate this guy. Every time I think maybe I can ironically support MamaMax. Because he's a funny liar. He tears it away. Critical glazing, first of all. Any critical dick sucking is absolute KOS material. That is bad stuff. Don't want to know about it. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to be just to it. Then you're putting that Halo music over critical too. God, disgusting. Disgusting. You're filth. You're filth. You are filth. Max, leave the internet. Never come back, Max.
Who has helped me in the past.
This also comes into play with MamaMax's video, if you remember that controversy that happened. I imagine most people who don't know the situation and don't know MamaMax will see this and just be like, what the fuck is going on here?
His support has always been invaluable, and since I've seen him fight corruption before, and he is one of the most respected voices on the platform, I truly believed he could make a difference.
Dude.
But it was difficult to get anyone to just listen to the survivors, and so I created artificial drama to get people's attention.
I could literally cancel you, Charlie.
And to be clear, I was always upfront that the drama was fake.
This is a call to action disguised as a cancellation.
And that worked. Until it didn't.
Stop ignoring MamaMax. Yeah, still here.
It's a call to action disguise. That doesn't mean the drama's fake. That means you're doing... It can mean you're doing both, basically.
You want me to talk about it a little bit? That rubbed me the wrong way.
I still don't feel good about that decision. But then, the people that I trusted, the people that I looked up to...
Wait, the people that I trusted? The people that I trusted, and you show the Nux Taku thumbnail. This is the pedo hunter, yeah? This is the pedo hunter. Showing the Nux Taku thumbnail, saying the people that I trusted. The pedo hunter trusted Nux... Okay.
The people that I trusted, the people that I looked up to, the people that I considered my best friends, they all turned on me. In an attempt to protect their own reputations, because they saw what was happening to me. And then they resorted to creating their own deceptions around me. So that way, they could bury me. No one will ever believe what I say. I'm a fraud, I'm a liar, I'm a manipulator.
I mean, true.
I'm a deceiver, I'm a monster. And then they wiped their hands and pretended like I never existed. But I do exist. And I do have my own side to all of this.
Wow.
And that's what I'm doing now, is clarifying some things, presenting some new information that some of you might have not known. And hopefully in the near future, we will resolve all of this drama.
Dude, this is so shameful.
So that way we can get back to the more important work. Do you acknowledge that you've made mistakes? And if so, which?
Just, it's like this desperate attempt. Everything is about stopping pedos. I've said this many times before. This is like one of those cancerous mindsets. Commentary retards still haven't shaken this, by the way. They're totally incapable of shaking this, because it's about optics, fundamentally. Anything can be justified. If you say, we're taking down pedos, anything you do is justified in the mind of someone with 75 IQ. In the mind of someone with 75 IQ, pedos are the ultimate evil and the biggest danger to society. There's a pedo around every corner and they're looking to rape your kid. It's not that there's a very small segment of the population that are pedophiles, and probably a slightly larger segment of the population that are people that are liable to commit some kind of child sexual abuse. And these are situations that occur sort of sporadically in a disorganized fashion, in spots where there's like a lack of oversight or safety or safeguarding for kids. It's not that, no. Pedos are an ever-present evil that are lurking everywhere, and we have to constantly be fighting pedophiles to keep our kids safe. They're not just like crimes that happen in weak-minded, substance-abusing, immoral people with a lack of oversight and safeguarding. No, it's a societal evil that we're all in a constant war against. Retards actually think like this, by the way. Retards like MamaMax, retards like 90% of the commentary literally think this. That's how they feel about it, and that's how they portray it. Dude, you know what's way more damaging than a single pedophile who rapes a kid or grooms a kid? Probably Nux Taku, frankly. Like, what does Nux Taku do? How much damage has Nux Taku done to kids by posting pictures of little girls getting fucked by dogs as YouTube thumbnails and showing it to thousands upon thousands upon thousands of kids? How much damage has Nux Taku done with his absolutely shameful political content? You want to protect kids. Probably abolishing the Department of Education probably wasn't a good way to protect kids. But hey, that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. Just the idea that any of these people are virtue signaling about harm to kids. Bro, you're YouTubers. You probably hurt kids more than anyone else on the fucking planet.
You can get back to the more important work. Do you acknowledge that you've made mistakes, and if so, which? Of course, I've made mistakes. And I think one of my biggest mistakes was covering dangerous content at a time I was too immature and uneducated on the subject matter. It's important to note that I did not have a mentor. I did have some military training. Wow. But I was mostly learning as I was going.
Military training.
And I felt what I was doing was much too serious.
Some military training. Didn't he try and kill himself in boot camp or something and get kicked out? Some military training.
Just to ignore. The amount of child exploitation that is happening all over the internet still does not get enough exposure.
Wait, did he even try and kill himself, or did he just or was it when he was cutting himself and posting pictures of it to his ex?
To this day. And that leads me to another big mistake, which was mixing fiction and non-fiction for cases that are too volatile for dramatization. At the time, I felt I could do no wrong if entertainment helps bring awareness to these very real issues, but retrospectively it just creates confusion around what's real and what's not in the long term. But I have been quite transparent about this since the very beginning.
All information was hidden or censored, names and identities were altered to protect the privacy of non-consenting parties, all dramatization and the visuals dialogue are fictional and meant for storytelling purposes.
How would you explain that? It's like half fiction, half kind of a story?
I call it hybrid, like documentaries, because it's like, yeah,
Okay.
it is half fiction that is parallel to the real story, and then there's just the real story.
Which is why the full investigation was publicly available in the mega drives that were linked in the paste bins of my video descriptions, that were then reported and taken down, with claims that they contained CSUM. But there was no CSUM, it was just documenting predators and their interactions with me. The entire investigation from accessing the platform, creating an account, interacting on the site, speaking with predators, speaking with victims.
I don't know what the truth of this is. I remember there were a lot of claims that he might have had CSAM in there. Oh, wait. People claimed it was CSAM, but I think the actual reason that people used to say that it was more likely because of the puppy stomp thing, right? Wasn't there a video of, like, dogs getting stamped to fuck in there or some shit?
Drives that were linked in the paste bins of my video descriptions, that were then reported and taken down, with claims that they contained CSUM.
Yeah, it was
but there
animal
was no
abuse,
CSUM,
yeah.
it was just...
It's a dangerous content warning. I think it explicitly says CSAM.
Documenting predators and their interactions with me. The entire investigation from accessing the platform, creating an account, interacting on the site, speaking with predators, speaking with victims, and everything that happened from beginning to end were present in OBS screen recordings on those mega drives. There is so much information that I would include in this very video pertaining to previous investigations that I now cannot present because these drives have been taken down. I did not create a backup because I was not comfortable keeping...
Whoa, dude, MamaMax is such a crazy investigator. Dude, he's such a good investigator. Did you know that if you go online into video chat rooms and pretend to be a kid, there are old men who will just show their cock? Guys, did you know that? Guys, we need to be at war with these pedophiles, guys. This is a constant societal evil that we can stomp out by making YouTube videos. Whoa.
This evidence of predators on my personal computer, so my team helped me upload it and let it go to the public. Mega is quite clear that you can report objectionable material. Because our end-to-end zero-knowledge encryption means we do not know the nature of content that is uploaded, Mega is only able to take down content when a public link has been reported to us. And since these were videos of predators getting naked and masturbating under the impression that I am a minor, I don't necessarily disagree with this decision, but that was the only source proving that these investigations were real. And since they are gone, it has been very easy for everyone to say that they are just fake. But obviously they are not. These platforms and predators are very real.
Dude, literally nobody thinks that MamaMax has never found a pedophile on the internet. Literally, nobody was arguing that. Nobody was arguing that you've never been on Omegle, said, I'm 12, and then had some old guy jerk off. I'm sure you've done that, Matt. We know you showed your ass to that one pedophile. We know you took a picture of your own ass to show that one pedophile. So I'm sure you've spoken to a pedophile, Max. The point is that, despite your claims, you never actually did anything about it. You never got anyone arrested. Nothing happened. You just pointed out that there were pedophiles on the internet. Something we all already knew.
Some of these same creators have covered them with me on multiple occasions.
So some of you may have seen the video that both myself and Ryan did, but most importantly MamaMax did, on a website called kidschat.net. It is a haven for predators.
We made reports to the FBI and NCMEC together, and I don't know how anyone can think that the predators are fake. No, these are not paid actors. These are child predators. Some of them even have records.
And the sheriff says admits to sending pornography to a child is now charged with pandering obscenity. Wayne Barnett is 60 years old, and the sheriff says Barnett sent the images to a 12-year-old.
We are aware that you've seen pedophiles online. You've seen pedophiles online, yes.
To clarify that I never actually claimed to personally get these arrests.
You went on and you said, this guy was arrested, it was because of me, it was because of my video.
But I never said this.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And anytime a predator is arrested,
are those even about the same case? I don't even know if that's about the same case.
Is credit my audience who do the legwork.
And it was all thanks to you.
And finally, I think platforming survivors before we were ready to handle the public was...
I almost want to check that.
Hi.
Oh my god, dude. Why is it not working? What was the quote again?
Sent the images.
You went on and you said, this guy was arrested.
There you go, folks.
I'm glad
you're a vigilante for views only. You're a vigilante for views only.
So you've never actually gotten a pedophile arrested?
Not to my knowledge.
So your content is just making fun of pedophiles online?
I suppose, like I said, my biggest goal is to inspire survivors.
It did what it needed to do. The rapist that was in the video is currently in police custody. And it
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video.
You went on. It was because of me. It was because of my video.
But I never said this.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail. Is what I'm needed to do.
Like I said, my biggest goal is to inspire survivors.
It did what it needed to do. The rapist that was in the video is currently in police custody. And it
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video.
You went on and you...
So this must be about two different cases. They're both in the same... They are both in the same podcast. It's about two different cases. One of them he's saying he didn't get arrested. The other one he's definitely saying he did. He very blatantly says he did get them arrested just then. So you're saying he gives two different answers in the same podcast? One anyway. That's what you're saying. No, that didn't happen. It's obviously about two different cases. There's no way he gives two different answers in the same podcast. What is this fucking podcast called?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and
there's people out there saying I'm doing it to self-serve. I just want my video back up. I don't give a shit if my video comes back up. It did what it needed to do. The rapist that was in the video is currently in police custody. And
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video. Right. The video was about IMVU and this one predator. I made it about him and him alone.
IMVU is a game, right? You played the game and you exposed this guy.
Yes.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that
arrested? It was because
you did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail. Spoke to the police about it. Was him or they forced him to come back. I don't know any YouTube.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But yes, if we did find him, it did like end his life in a way. Like he got evicted from his residence. All of his friends know. His family knows. He was fired from his job.
Okay.
He no longer.
Barnett says admits to sending pornography to a child. Barnett sent the images to a 12-year-old.
Now, I'd like to clarify that I never actually claimed to personally get these arrests.
You went on and you said this.
Okay, no, he explicitly did claim to get an arrest. Okay, he's saying he didn't get a conviction. Right, that seems to be the distinction that's being made here.
Back up. It did what it needed to do. The rapist that was in the video is currently in police custody. And
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video. Right. The video was about...
Yeah, so he's saying he's in police custody directly because of the video. And then Tom basically presses like, what is he, like, it's about conviction, basically. Is he in prison? And that's a no. So, yeah, this is totally dishonest.
This guy was arrested. It was because
blatantly
of me.
Dishonest.
It was because of my video.
But I never said this.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And anytime a predator is arrested, I always credit my audience who do the legwork.
And it was all thanks to you.
And finally, I think platforming survivors before we were ready to handle
Do you
the
even verify that claim?
Was a huge mistake. I did read books and reach out to experts and institutions to educate myself on the subject matter. I did get the consent of the victims who appeared in these videos before releasing them. And I did ask my peers for feedback, which most of them did not have anything negative to say until after the backlash. But clearly none of us were ready for what ended up happening. And I do take a great share of responsibility for what happened. And I don't feel good about it. Those are just a few mistakes out of many, many more I know I've made. But I'm always learning and trying to do better. Genuine question here. Why did you betray Night Docs despite all that he did for you? Is he lying or is he telling the truth that you made false allegations concerning him? I actually really want to talk about this.
Wow.
So just for some background, I met Jim Pagel, creator of Night Docs, at PAX South 2020. This is where I also met Nexpo, Mudahar, and some other YouTubers. This was my first experience meeting other YouTubers, besides a random collaboration with Official Duck Studios in 2019.
Welcome! Go! Faster!
Anyway, this was my first real friend group with other influencers. And I was a bit awkward, to say the least.
Right, you can stick it? Yeah, I can stick it.
But I became very close with these people, specifically Night Docs and Nexpo.
So, no! And then, guys, whoa, guys, what the fuck's going on? Guys, I said stop, drawers, the drawers, not my drawers. Give me the fucking camera.
And Ruby and I ended up moving in with Night Docs when he invited me. And from what I remember, Jim was a very kind person and an extremely loyal friend.
Max and Ryan, Nexpo, like, those guys are as close to being my brothers as you can be without being blood related. I mean, I would do anything for those dudes.
Wow, it was all great.
I have so many fun memories.
I was also happy back in the day.
Jim would often get on Ryan's nerves, Nexpo, when we would film together. I remember this happened with pretty much every episode of Cringe Kitchen, as well as Ben Drowns Again, that we all filmed together. And I think it was because Jim has ADHD, He is prescribed Adderall and often drank a lot of energy drinks on top of a nicotine addiction, so Jim would often get lost in whatever he was doing, and this would result in Ryan getting pissed off and venting to me about Jim.
Probably bring maybe Max and Nexpo along too, if they're up for it. I know Max will be all on board with it. Max is like, always like, whenever I ask Max about anything, he's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Come on, let's go. Like, he's really awesome that way. Ryan tends to be a little busier, and all that, so not as easy to get a hold of, Nexpo all the time. He also shuts his phone off quite a lot too, so he's hard to get a hold of unless he wants to be available.
Ryan and I would become closer than brothers. I think just because he was a year older than me and our opposing personalities mixed well. And there were times when he would ask me questions about living with Jim. So when Ryan and I would hang out without Jim, he was always very curious about what was going on at his place. So he would ask me questions. Ryan always loved talking about Jim. Anyway, I fell in love with a woman who was helping me hunt predators, and Jim graciously let me invite her to stay with me for a week. And this is when I started hearing the first rumors about Jim from this girlfriend. Because she was chronically online and spent most of her time on all of our Discord servers and participated in a lot of the gossip that happens on these servers. It wasn't anything serious, it's just that Jim was very flirty with women, which isn't a crime, so I didn't really care. But again, when Ryan would ask me questions, I would answer him honestly. And since he was also hearing some of the same stuff from his own Discord server, we would compare notes and discuss what we've been hearing. And then we started witnessing firsthand how Jim would behave with women in real life, saying some pretty inappropriate things that would create some awkward situations. And it's not like he was hurting anyone, but I think because of that, and the rumors, and some other personal stuff, over time we started to distance ourselves from Jim, and eventually we just stopped talking to him. That was the extent of my relationship with—
So I don't even remember how the Night Dogs and Expo shit went down. But basically, Max was accused of engineering a cancellation behind the scenes and getting this guy's friends to all cut themselves off, right? And that's, I'm guessing that the story is actually a little bit different. Actually, Nexpo was more involved than he let on. And, you know, it was more like these two were gassing each other up about how much this other friend was like a total piece of shit. And then they all cut off. Okay. I immediately know what the situation is.
With Night Ducks. But things did not get that bad for him until VidCon 2022, when Ryan told Mutahar about all of this. And that's when Jen, Mutahar's wife...
Mutahar's white wife?
...told us about her experiences with Night Dogs.
You know, in regards like Night Dogs, the whole situation is like, you know, you hear some things and then you're trying to figure out where they're coming from, and then you find out, you know, it was originating from Max the whole time.
Yeah.
Not that Night Dogs doesn't have fault of things of his own.
Now I'm gonna leak her DMs that she sent.
Let's go! WMax! Let's go! Fuck Dojangles! Fuck this bitch! Let's go! Fuck yeah, Max. Give me that shit in 1080p.
During my cancellation, to a witness who will be speaking shortly. Hey, I remember a couple years ago hearing the whole Jim and the waitress story and that you felt uncomfortable. Was I remember things wrong? It was some joke from Jim about him and I potentially spit roasting with a waitress.
Get on your little trotters, hog jangles. Also, dude, these pictures make you realize how fucking curated her fucking online presence is, don't it? Holy fuck, look at her, man.
And that's when Jim...
Miss Piggy sitting there pouting in the corner. Dude.
When Ryan told Mutahar about all of this. And that's when Jen, Mutahar's wife,
of a Spencer,
told us about her experiences with Night Dogs.
You know, in regards like Night Dogs, the whole situation is like,
it's built like a fridge.
You hear some things and then you're trying to figure out where they're coming from, and then you find out, you know, it was originating from Max the whole time.
Yeah.
Not that Night Dogs doesn't have fault of things of his own.
Now I'm gonna leak her DMs that she sent during my cancellation to a witness who will be speaking shortly. Hey, I remember a couple years ago hearing the whole Jim and the waitress story and that you felt uncomfortable. Was I remember things wrong? It was some joke from Jim about him and I potentially spit roasting with a waitress that talked to us there. It came out of nowhere and it just surprised me, on top of me thinking it was just weird and disrespectful lol. He's saying now the waitress was into it. From what I remember, she wasn't around at all when the joke was made, and I can't recall him talking to her directly. Unless it was while I was in the bathroom, I don't know. I mainly remember everyone there just being like, what the fuck, when he said that to me. I can't speak for the waitress if she'd be into that talk or not. I'm just trying to piece together some things because cool, it's not a pedo, I guess. He was still out of pocket and obnoxious. I feel for the dude. I feel like it's textbook divorcee dad behavior. As for the other claims, I have no idea.
He got too pushy with me before I met Muta. He can't read a room. So this bitch is out there on Twitter right now. She is out there riding high. Just like dogging on Anissa Joma constantly. Have you guys seen this? I don't like Anissa Joma. Personally. But I gotta say, when I see some stupid seething tubby cow like this going crazy over someone who is ostensibly more attractive, let's be totally honest, in a better situation, just seething over that. When I see that between women, it just, I just thought I can see your psychology. It reflects on your psychology heavily. I know what's going on in your head.
He got too pushy with me before I met Muta. He can't read a room. So just for everyone to be crystal clear on this, Mutahar and Jen were already saying, and I quote, Night Docs is a fucking creep. Even Mutahar himself admits he did not hear any of the rumors from me.
In regards to Jim or Night Docs, there were two allegations, one of them which had come from Max, allegedly, in amongst a friend group, about him not
Ugly
being
girl mentality is a sad thing. It literally, imagine being so locked into ugly girl mentality that you, as a white woman, okay, I'm not even going to make the joke.
From me.
In regards to Jim or Night Docs, there were two allegations, one of them which had come from Max, allegedly, in amongst a friend group, about him not being necessarily the best dad. There were two key things. One of them was him being asleep most days, and then the other was that Max would have to step in and feed his children cereal or whatever else was in the house. This is something that I heard, again, not from Max, but through our internal friend group. And while this one definitely raised some questions about, okay, you know, gotta be attentive if you're the dad, it wasn't necessarily the most serious thing. However, what was more serious was the allegation where he had allegedly started unzipping himself in front of a minor, exposing himself over a Discord video call. Now, I actually confronted Jim about this one specifically because I wasn't exactly...
So what is this?
One of them which had come from Max, allegedly, in amongst a friend group, about him not being necessarily the best dad. There were two key things. One of them was him being asleep most days, and then the other was that Max would have to step in and feed his children cereal or whatever else was in the house. This is something that I heard, again, not from Max, but through our internal friend group. And while this one definitely raised some questions about, okay, you know, gotta be attentive if you're the dad, it wasn't necessarily the most serious thing. However, what was more serious was the allegation where he had allegedly started unzipping himself in front of a minor, exposing himself over a Discord video call. Now, I actually confronted Jim about this one specifically because I wasn't exactly, I needed to know the bottom of this truth, or I need to understand or at least get his side, because obviously I met the person in reality. Me and my wife confronted him, and in this situation, Jim obviously categorically denied that he had done anything, but I didn't have any evidence for or against Jim, and you know, in spite of all that, I still decided to, you know, hold back my connection, not talk as much anymore. We weren't necessarily the most talkative people anyways, but this absolutely sealed the deal, and that's just because I don't really like to interact with somebody that even has that kind of an ick on them or that stain, because again, I don't know what's true or what isn't. In this situation, I just decided to dial back the friendship that I had. Obviously, considering everything now, I'm more inclined to believe Jim at his word, given the other party.
So let's break this down. Mutahar claims that there were two allegations. One of them, only one of them, had come from me, allegedly, which was that Jim was a bad dad. And then Mutahar even admits he did not hear this rumor from me. It was from an anonymous source within the internal friend group that he intentionally does not name, who was spreading these rumors to him. And
it was Dojangles, by the way, guys. It's been stated on Twitter.
Allegation, which Mutahar has already implied, did not come from me, because remember, only one of them came from me allegedly, which was that Jim was exposing himself to a minor over a Discord video call. So if
the real story 100% is his hog wife shit-talking guys tried to fuck her and pitted Mutahar against him. I could be brought around that perspective. That seems reasonable to me. That seems possible.
These rumors did not come from me. Who did they come from? It was Ryan who spread those rumors to Mutahar. And from my memory, Mutahar and Jen spread those rumors to everyone else, telling every other YouTuber...
Okay, so apparently, so according to Dojangles on Twitter, Max is absolutely the one who said to her that he had to feed Night Doc's kids because Night Doc's woke up late. Which, like, for you to take that, to be honest, for you to take that and then start going around your friend group talking about how bad of a dad is, how bad of a daddy is because his roommate fed his kids because he woke up late one time. It's like, how old are his fucking kids, man? Like, it's not that deep. You're sitting there shit talking this guy about this.
That Night Docs is a predator who abuses his kids. And I was like, okay, I guess that's what these people do. For the record, I was not even present while this was happening. But you could say we were all responsible for spreading rumors about Night Docs. But of course, when I start getting canceled, they reached out to Jim and pinned all of these rumors on me. My statement on the MamaMax video just released today by Nicholas Diorio, where I explained for the first time what Max did to me. I'm grateful to Nexpo, Ordinary Gamers, and others who listened. I'm grateful to you. Night Docs will return soon. I know people have been wondering where I went and why I fell off so abruptly. My comments section is full of questions. The truth is that over a 3 to 4 year time span, I experienced one traumatic event after another. I was suffering from severe depression. Then I went through a messy, identity-shattering divorce. The woman I loved and knew me better than anyone rejected me. I lost my job, facing more rejection about my ability to do what I was hired to do professionally. My grandmother died, my house flooded during the big Texas freeze, and since I no longer had a job, I was on a mortgage payment deferment, which meant I believed I didn't have home insurance, so I wasn't able to repair the damage, and my house became a depressing mess, falling into disrepair with a concrete slab for a floor. My house then caught fire during a live stream. On top of all this, some of my closest friends who I thought knew me well completely rejected me and cut me off. So this is true. We all cut him off. There were multiple reasons for why this happened. Some I already explained, and there's others I probably don't even know about.
When I lost all my friends, I just went away from YouTube and all that. Like, I just lost all of my self-esteem. I just felt like I was, like, irredeemable. There was something wrong with me that nobody would ever want to be around me, and I had no idea what it was that I did, but I was like, I'm obviously just a piece of shit.
So you'd say this impacted your career, I guess?
Absolutely, it impacted my career. I completely fell off.
And while I was given an explanation, it didn't make any sense to me. Then I found out that Max, who I had opened my home to and allowed to live rent-free just so I could have a friend nearby to help alleviate the loneliness and isolation I was feeling, had gone behind my back and spread false allegations of the worst sort about me to my closest friends and didn't even have the courage to tell me. Worst of all, I could not defend myself because not only did I not even know my character had been completely assassinated, he had so much credibility both publicly and privately that I didn't stand a chance of being believed, even if I knew about what he had said. I simply wasn't strong enough anymore.
His allegations against me range from I'm a neglectful parent to I am a creep, that I'm a pedophile. Essentially, the one that I was most bothered by really was when he was calling me a pedophile. He wasn't saying it publicly. None of the allegations he had against me were said publicly. He was doing it all behind the scenes with the people that I was closest to.
The truth is that we were all doing this behind the scenes, but it seems no one else wants to take accountability for it, among some of the many other things they don't want to take any accountability for. But don't worry, we will get to them later, and as you will soon see, their noses are not clean. By this time, I'd completely run out of money and knew it was too dangerous for me to live alone, so I moved in with my parents, further eroding my self-esteem. My father and brother and I spent months repairing the damage from the flood and the fire and sold my house.
Some of this is
undeniable
not gonna lie, this part is real honk shoe right now.
Evidence that I was a toxic piece of shit that people were better off without. With nothing left to live for and no visible path to an existence worth enduring, I came within hours of doing something very stupid and very permanent. I had a plan, a place, and had made up my mind. I planned on leaving no note, because at this point I felt like I was so worthless that it wasn't even worth explaining anything. And then my daughter saved me. The image of their faces too young to understand and so unconditional.
Go back to shit talking Dojangles. Go back to talking shit on Dojangles, Max.
Loving, it wasn't fair. My parents checked me into a mental health facility that evening where I stayed for over a week and a half. So I do feel really bad for Jim, and I can empathize with what he was going through, considering I'm going through pretty much...
Dude, you know what Max should start doing? He should start doing, like, you know how he used to do those videos of pedophiles where it would have, like, veiled calls to violence and shit? He should start doing YouTube hit pieces like that, but on, like, specifically his old friends and stuff.
The exact same thing.
Maybe people around them.
These same people are claiming I orchestrated. Pretty interesting, huh? Until only last week, when Nexpo called me to tell me what Max had done to me behind the scenes, I really believed everything that had happened to me was deserved. I'm just now starting to put my life back together. So for any of you that just missed that, Night Docs just revealed that all of this is stemming from a call with Nexpo.
Yes, commentary, dude. He just he could be a pedo hunter, but he just hunts commentary YouTubers, and it's got nothing to do with pedophiles. He just makes videos about commentary YouTubers where he blasts Hotline Miami music, and like flashes the screen, and puts up like pictures of their home, flashing backwards and forwards with a bloody bat. Do you remember that video he made, where he put up that pedophile's home, and it was flashing backwards and forwards with him like wearing a shirt with a bat with like nails draped around it and bloody. That would be awesome.
Ryan initially told me that him calling me a pedo or whatever, Ryan told me the story that he basically brought me up out of the blue.
So regarding Jim, there were two specific stories that Max really harped on when it came to Night Docs, at least whenever we had our little, I guess, falling out. So Max was convinced that Jim was this pedophile creep, and he backed up this claim with, firstly, a story about an inappropriate conversation that he claimed Jim had with a minor. As it turned out, this person was not a minor at all. They had told Jim their age at one point, which I believe was like 25 or so. I'm not entirely sure, but that's that whole story that Max always like referred to back whenever he would call Jim a predator. There was another story that led to more of Max believing Jim to be, I guess, a creep, and it involved one trip to a restaurant that he and Jim had way back when Max was living with Jim. Apparently Jim was, making moves on the waitress and, continuously hitting on her, and he just wouldn't stop, and it made this, I guess, situation, or this dinner that they were at, very tense and awkward. Basically, every single time that I was with Max during the time when we had our, I guess, falling out, I guess you could call it, Max would perpetuate this narrative that Jim was this creep, and he would always refer back to these two stories. And I guess I just never really vetted them because Max kind of planted this idea in my head that, oh my god, we're associated with Jim, we have to cut Jim, we cannot be associated with someone like this, he's a pedophile, he's a creep, he's all of these things, and we can't associate with this guy. And in hindsight, it's silly.
Right now, your bullshit detectors are probably going off like crazy because this story makes absolutely no sense.
You're right, Nick. My bullshit detector is going off like crazy. So Mutahar made two claims that he...
I cannot say this enough. If you are making a video hating on Nicholas Diorio in any way, do not just use this picture of him. Get the clip of him eating the birthday cake and loop that. The birthday boy Nick clip. Loop that while you talk about him. Do not... stop using this picture. You have to get the one of him eating the little cake. Raise it. That should be the standard.
Right, Nick. My bullshit detector is going off like crazy. So Mutahar made two claims that he literally admits he did not hear from me. That Jim is a bad dad who sleeps all day and that there's a Discord video of him unzipping his pants to a minor. Which is completely different from the two claims Ryan is making, which is that Jim was having an inappropriate conversation with a 25-year-old adult that apparently I claimed was a minor, and then that Jim is flirting with a waitress. And their response to these supposed claims is not to investigate it any further, it's just to disassociate from Jim, even though they knew Jim longer than they knew me. They just blindly believed these claims I supposedly made that, again, Mutahar admits I did not make. And, okay, yeah, Nick, you're right. These stories don't make any fucking sense whatsoever.
You have to use this. So good. It's so good, dude. It's such a good give. Dude.
Pretty funny then that you both knew Jim longer than they knew me. They just blindly believed these claims I supposedly made that, again, Mutahar admits I did not make. And, okay, yeah, Nick, you're right. These stories don't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Pretty funny then that you made an entire video, your crowning achievement, based on these unsubstantiated claims. Good job, buddy. I have a good therapist. My daughters love me with a childlike innocence that heals with every hug and kiss on the cheek. They know that daddy is sad but are too young to understand. But they truly saved my life by simply being who they are, and the thought of them dealing with the fact that their father wouldn't be around for birthdays, graduations, weddings, all of the boy problems, it kept me alive. If not for myself, for them. I recommend watching Nicholas Diorio's latest video, linked below, talking about what Max has done broadly. You'll hear me speak on the record for the first time about all of this. So just by looking at the thumbnail, I can immediately tell that Nicholas Diorio is going to be as honest and objective as possible. by giving me additional hair and enhancing the shadows on my forehead to make me look as creepy as possible. It's not like this is an example of visual manipulation and deceptive framing to influence the perception of the audience that all of these drama tubers are known to use. It's clearly an accurate representation of empirical truth and reality, especially given that Nicholas Diorio originally had no criticism when I first showed him the Charlie video.
Hey, that's a good visual gag. See, why is this Max guy waste his time with pedo hunting when he can make such good visual gags?
Are known to use. It's clearly an accurate representation of empirical truth and reality, especially given that Nicholas Diorio originally had no criticism when I first showed him the Charlie video.
Yeah, when he said, okay, Max is misreading this. He says, there's not really much I can critique here. As in, you're not even saying enough for me to critique. That's what he's saying here. He's saying, yeah, the shit you're saying is so vapid, there's not even any criticism for it. Like, go read the rest of it. If your point is that celebrity drama / gossip gets a shitload of views and serious stories lacking the same level of exposure often gets pushed to a wayside, I'm in agreement there, but that extends further than this platform. It's kind of a dark reality with the modern news cycle. It's just like, yeah, Max, you're not saying anything novel. What would I even criticize here? It's just like you're saying nothing. You're saying water is wet.
And then once he saw the backlash, he changed his mind to have a few light criticisms. And then after Mutahar recruited him to be his lapdog in the defamation campaign, he took a complete 180 and did everything in his power to make me look as horrible as possible, literally creating a video called "This Video Will Make You Hate MamaMax." It's not like he lied to my face saying he's going to keep everything between...
Oh, and Max apparently lying and he only sent like a teaser at that point.
Accurate representation of empirical truth and reality, especially given that Nicholas Diorio originally had no criticism when I first showed him the Charlie video. And then once he saw the backlash, he changed his mind to have a few light criticisms. And then after Mutahar recruited him to be his lapdog in the defamation campaign, he took a complete 180 and did everything in his power to make me look as horrible as possible, literally creating a video called "This Video Will Make You Hate MamaMax." It's not like he lied to my face saying he's going to keep everything between us and then subsequently leaking our DMs and private conversations, without our consent, by the way, to get a head start on the narrative so that way I can't respond without everyone immediately think I'm lying about everything. Jim, I'm glad you got a platform.
You are currently lying about stuff, and also the reason the DMs were released is because you were being dishonest in public, obviously, Max.
To speak your truth that was worm-tongued into you by Ryan, who no longer wanted to be associated with his best friend that was getting cancelled. Yet the survivors and I have yet to be platformed by any of these people, some of which outright denied us a platform, despite the fact that we are direct sources of information for our side of the story. It's almost like this was an orchestrated attempt to keep us silent and only platform each other. What? No, that's not an echo chamber. That's a beacon of truth. And then anyone that was asking critical questions of them or showing support to me or the survivors were getting doxxed and harassed for having a different opinion than what cancel culture would allow for. So yeah, that's really great, Jim. What he did to me pales in comparison to the damage he has caused to the women he allegedly abused.
In the ads? I was in the ads.
Having a different opinion than what cancel to me or the beacon of truth. And then anyone that was asking critical questions of them or showing support to me or the survivors were getting doxxed and harassed for having a different opinion than what cancel culture would allow for. So yeah, that's really great, Jim. What he did to me pales in comparison to the damage he has caused to the women he allegedly abused and the victims of CSA that he's failed through his own narcissism and unchecked megalomania.
In that one.
I and my friends that you destroyed are moving on. The damage is done, but the healing has begun. Out of the darkness, we can all find light. Jim. So, you all may be wondering, do I have any proof to my side of the story? You know, I really wish that was something you guys would ask of them.
Okay.
They have failed to provide any evidence that I did all of this, and yet everyone believes them. And now the burden of proof is on me that I did not do these things, which is actually impossible. How do you prove you did not do something? But I will show you what I do have. So this is my Discord correspondence with Ryan. He deleted all of his messages. I think because he knew I was going to expose him one day. There were many times he would talk shit about Jim. Even videos where he would make fun of Jim. He deleted all of them. But I mean, feel free to read through my own messages. I looked up to Ryan like he was my older brother and always came to him for advice. Yeah, I think he doesn't want y'all to know that, since it contradicts his disavowing.
I don't know if there's anything worthwhile in those messages whatsoever. I mean, NightDocs removed his stuff, so that is kind of weird, but whatever.
Unfortunately for Ryan, you cannot delete messages from group chats that you've already left. Sorry, Nick, but you're gonna get caught in the crossfire. You can blame Muda and Ryan for making me do this. So I believe this was regarding Creator Clash. LOL. Do you not want to go? I thought that was for the call tomorrow. Is that what I said, idiot? You just fucking laughed, loser. I laugh at your lack of intelligence. You know who lacks intelligence? James, I'm gonna groom the shit out of you, Bagel, with Nightcox Media. Nightcox banned a girl that we knew. He found out she was taken. So Ryan is implying that Jim only wanted single girls in his Discord server. Stop. Bro, what is the context behind this? No one knows. What the fuck, lol? The Jim lore is always expanding, I swear. Can't wait for his redemption arc. Jim when Kitten logs into Discord. Is this Jim? Is this Jim?
Hi everyone.
Okay, so yeah, this guy was absolutely so Nexpo is behind the scenes pushing this shit too, joking about it, being like this guy's a fucking pedo. Okay. You're caught.
I am actually breaking up with Jason.
No.
What do you mean no?
I know.
Yes.
I
It
know.
was just all this evil MamaMax guy just totally poisoned my mind against him. He just totally poisoned me, a 30-year-old man's mind against him. Oh, I couldn't do anything. I had to hate him and call him a pedophile behind his back.
Jason.
Would you guys still be down to do part of the iceberg? I'm gonna pick it up next month after I get a few more vids done. I heard Night Dix is down for the part with young girls. Go suck his cock? Yes, that's all I do, to be honest. VidCon? Fell off? Huh? The fuck? I'm sick of you guys treating me like shit. Gonna start a new friend group with Jim. He made both of you, to be honest. Dude, you fell off. Damn it, is that a Jim moment? Bro, did you collab with him Pagel of NightDoc? Famous Webby-nominated YouTuber? Yeah, it was a NightDoc's media production. He really went to bat for me this time. That's deep. Want to hear something even more deep and heartbreaking? When I'm with you guys, I feel like I'm the low man on the totem pole. Bro, are you serious, dude? Come on, man. Shit, I feel bad, dude. If it makes you feel better, man, your content's trash and you fell off. But dude, you shouldn't feel that way. Honestly, man, I do. I know my content is far superior, but it's just the algorithm, man. Dude, just keep trying, bro. Maybe you'll hit the algorithm in 2047. LOL. Pathetic. Yo, what the fuck? How the fuck are you two going to turn me into a gym like this? Yo, what the fuck? So just for context, this is a group chat. Glink invited Ryan and Jim too, and Ryan would often make fun of Jim for wanting to go to events that we were invited to. Let's play a game. Spot the Jim. Lamau. You inconvenience me. Consistently. In other words, when we make a podcast. You tell me, slut. Whenever you're ready, we brainstorm names. We include Nick and Jim. Fuck no. Ha 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 ha. Dude. Can't have me without Jim. Podcast when? Finally got a name. The NightDocs Media Podcast, a subsidiary of NightDocs Media Incorporated, LLC, 2022. Fuck both of you seeing NightDocs Media live. Got any friends that might want random shit from my place? I got the couches, 2 beds, a lazy boy chair, 2 desks, office chair, 2 dressers, shelves, etc. Jim. I believe this was right after Jim's house caught fire, by the way. Write that shit down, that's the funniest thing you've ever said. I hope you continue to use it for years to come. I'm sorry I let you down. Lamau. Bro, what is the context behind this? Random DM last night. He's with Oki right now. Oki was asking me about Jim when we met him in LA. WTF, wait, this is for real? I told him we parted ways but didn't delve into detail. 100%. It's real. So I'm assuming they talked about it.
That's Oki's weird stories or whatever, right?
I believe this was the invite for Lightwave. Yes, going. I think Jim might be there. LMFAO, typical. I'll ask.
Wait, they were going to Lightwave? Why?
Tell them the fucking deal straight. We don't mesh anymore, my mans. I'll let them know. Boys, we merch trading at VidCon? What size shirt you wear, bitch, Muda? Large? Gonna make you a walking advertisement like Jim did.
So I'm no longer Nexpo. I'm officially NightDocs. I'm a walking advertisement. So is Max. Hey, do you feel like you're being used, man? Because you're walking here, walking ad.
So I believe this was a text message from Nick to Ryan. I was right, man. Jim's making a statement. Shut the fuck up. What we do? Trying to get a coffee or what? So you can see here, Ryan was always very concerned about Jim speaking up. Holy shit, boys. Anyone see Jim's story? Deleted Instagram off my phone, what'd it say? Showed this tweet with a sappy message. Love it when someone decides that not only are they not your friend anymore, but they poison the well for everyone else you were friends with. Sounds familiar. I think I know who he's talking about. I'm telling you, dude, he thinks everything is 100% me, I know it. It is. So I'm half joking here.
Oh, dude. Oh, this is a rough one. without anything being said, Nexpo is freaking out thinking, I'm telling you, dude, he thinks everything is 100% me, I know it. And the moment he sees an opportunity to, when Max is already getting kicked, he jumps in, he's like, oh yeah, and Max totally fucked this Night Docs guy over too. Bro.
Clearly, we are all accountable for shit-talking Night Docs, but up until Mutahar was involved, Ryan was the most vocal about Jim. Fuck you. I need to talk to you, please. Bro, stop. Photoshopped. LMFAO. You gonna talk to him? No, I don't think I will. So I believe this was during Pick Aside YouTube. Jim was fighting off the commentary channels. You sure do know how to win a man's heart. Always with you, dude. He reached out to me so many fucking times and you said not to reply and that you had him blocked. So I don't remember ever saying this. So a few months before, I asked Ryan if we should block him, and he told me yes. So I actually didn't tell him to block Jim, I was just asking if we should. But I didn't want to block Jim because I felt he was owed an explanation from the both of us. But whatever. Now he 100% thinks I'm the one talking shit about him pulling the strings here. I can talk to him about it if you want. Or we can. Or just not say anything more, I don't know. Up to you. That put me in a shitty spot and now I look like a fucking asshole. I'm sorry, man, I didn't even think about that. We should talk to him together then. Shut up. Kill yourself. Why do everyone in Squid Game look the same? Yeah. Something to note about YouTubers. They spread a lot of rumors. They love to gossip.
They're very racist.
They love to appear like they don't. But they most certainly do. Keep in mind, this is only what I have saved. There was a lot more in my DMs with Ryan, and it was much worse in person. It's also pretty interesting that Ryan has privated all of his Cringe Kitchen episodes with me and Jim. And if you go to the ones that are still public, you will notice his audience thinks it's because of my involvement. But all of his videos with me are still public. I think he might be trying to hide some things in those videos that could verify what I am saying.
So actually I'm going to be joined by MamaMax and Night Docs. Let's get some music going!
And Night Docs knows I'm not the type to talk at, like, parties. I'm a pretty quiet guy.
MamaMax and Night Docs do live together. Yeah, he's actually upstairs right now, working on. I think he's working on his next video right now. You know, he'll be standing there. You might not be saying much, and then you hand him a camera, and things just start happening, and it's really cool.
But people who love to get drunk and run their mouths, that is Nexpo and Mutahar. Wow. Luckily for Mutahar, I don't have any evidence of him calling Jim a predator. He mostly did that in person when he was drunk. But from my memory, he was very vocal about gossiping, not just about Jim, but pretty much every...
Dude. The night out
I don't have any
of
evidence of him calling Jim a predator. He mostly did that in person when he was drunk, but from my memory, he was very vocal about gossiping, not just about
look,
Jim.
This guy looks ridiculous here.
But pretty much every other creator that thought they were his friend.
Muda is a wonderful, wonderful human being. You guys have, like...
Wrong.
He's exactly like you see on his videos. Like,
disgusting,
he's just so
pathetic
full
wretch.
of energy. He's like... He's got, like, the quickest wit I've ever seen. It's so hard to keep
Bro,
up. Okay?
what? Bro, what? Hell... The same Mutahar? Hello? What?
I generally have a lot to say about everything in general, but I got nothing on Muda. Muda's got a really hot take on just about everything.
There's so many YouTubers...
Bro, we're talking about the same Mutahar? Are we talking about the same Mutahar right now? Some Ordinary Gamers Mutahar, Dojangles Mutahar, that Mutahar. A hot take on everything. When his videos are the most mealy-mouthed, fence-sitting bullshit ever put out, aside from Moist Critical's channel.
That can substantiate this, like Nick Crowley.
Nick, what the fuck are we watching?
Bro, I need you to tell me, man.
Max, what are we watching, dude?
Trust me, just watch. Shut up, Nexpo!
I don't even know what I'm doing here. Get me out of here.
But he's probably going to defend himself and his friends. But that's okay, because there's one witness who is brave enough to speak up today.
Hi, I go by Prox. I'm here to provide a new perspective on the relationship between Max, Ryan, Muda, Nick Crowley, myself, and Jim. Specifically as a witness as it pertains to the allegations from Ryan and Mutahar that Max destroyed Jim's character. Before I get into the main topic, I want to give context on who I am and why my perspective is important. I've been involved with these guys for over 5 years, and I have first-hand experience with many of the people and events I'm going to talk about. Here's a brief rundown of the projects I've been a part of. On April 27th, 2020, I was a part of Ryan's project called Ben Drowns Again. On July 15th, 2021, I was part of Ryan's Walton Files analysis.
But the person filming this can be heard in the background saying the following.
So, on June 24th, 2022, I was a part of Ryan's project, The Darkest Half-Life mod, which you won't find without the Wayback Machine.
A strange temptation awaits him.
I really need to take these pills. This channel used to be called Nexpo After Hours and was publicly available. Uploaded on May 1st, 2022, I was a part of a video with Ryan and Nick called Meeting Dream at 3 a.m.
Can I kiss you? I mean, can I shake your hand? I mean, can I touch you? I mean, Mr. Dream. Mr. Dream. Oh, it's Dream. Oh my God. True.
This was only a tiny fraction of the stupid shit we'd do at Max's place at the time. On January 18th, 2022, I was in Muda's video titled A Lot Happened This Weekend.
Like Friday night, you know, Ryan came over, Prox, and Max came over, and we just kind of like had a good time.
On July 29th, 2022, I was a part of Muda's video titled The YouTube Disaster You've Never Heard Of. I wish I was never part of this mostly negative video at all.
And shout out to Prox, by the way.
On April 7th, 2021, I was part of Jim's
I'm on this guy's team. He said he wishes he never associated with Mutahar.
Video titled This Video Can Physically
That's how everyone should feel.
I've never been a part of any project that was specifically for Nick Crowley, though we did hang out a lot behind the scenes for various other projects like for Max, Ryan, and etc. And I've helped Max with almost all of his post-2020 content. On July 13th, 2021, I uploaded the video titled Raising Cane's Chicken Is Not What It Seems, documentary, featuring Nexpo, MamaMax, Some Ordinary Gamers, Nick Crowley, Night Docs, and so on. Now that I've established my history with these guys, let me start from the beginning. The story begins for me around August of 2019 when I first met Max. This was shortly after he released his video covering Kanye Quest. Ryan would notice the video and collaborate with Max on the same topic a couple months later. It was around this time, in early 2020, that Max and Ryan would become good friends. Max messaged me about a new collaborative project he was going to be a part of that Nexpo was filming, which wasn't too far from me. I believe it was the night of April 25th that I drove over to Jim's house and met Ryan and Jim for the first time, where we also pranked Max before he showed up.
Which question?
Okay, can we get to the point?
Yeah.
Filming for this project, which ended up being Ben Drowns Again,
Look it, it's Nexpo. It's Nexpo from YouTube.
Was fun and went smoothly. Most of the time. Ryan was arguably taking this project more seriously than anything he's done before. He gathered several creators together to film a real-life storyline of sorts. Therefore, when Jim tried to share ideas with Ryan, on and off set, whether it's an extra scene there, a drone shot there, etc., the response from Ryan ranged from warm reception to downright frustration. Not too long after the project started, Ryan would voice his frustrations to the rest of us, without Jim being present. A good example would be when Jim would fly his drone over the woods decently far away, to get some B-roll, before almost entirely losing his drone and panicking about it for the next hour. This was a detour that caused another delay. In retrospect, though, most of what Jim did wasn't like this at all. Jim's a bit of a clumsy guy who makes mistakes. I mean, who doesn't? But overall, I argue that most of what Ryan was complaining about boiled down to Jim's mostly harmless suggestions and criticisms to him, which Ryan just couldn't bother to be more patient about, regardless of, again, how much of an asset Jim was to the project.
Well, I don't care about
any
any
of
of
this.
this.
Was the beginning of a long era for Ryan as we knew him personally, one that was fueled by contempt for Jim. You can absolutely bet that Ryan had a list of complaints after every one of these videos, which—
So what, Nexpo was high-strung on set. Alright, okay, cool.
He of course started to only share with Max and I, since this was a continued outlet for venting his frustrations about working with Jim. You know, forget the fact that Ryan and Jim have a longer history together than any of us. Forget the fact that Jim sourced an important location and actor for the film, along with being one himself. Also, forget the fact that Jim made an entire score just for this video. Despite how useful Jim was to this project, Ryan just wasn't having it. Ryan's lack of consideration for Jim would only get worse from here. After filming for Ben Drowns Again concluded, Neff and his partner went home and it was down to the four of us for the rest of 2020. Max started living with Jim for a few months and we would all continue to regularly collaborate, with videos like Strange Flyers around Portland, Oregon, the Randonautica video, the Rabbit Hole video, the Cringe Kitchen episodes, which all featured Night Docs at this point. I mean, they were literally filmed at his house. And, oh yeah, the Kids Chat video, where all of them, including Muda, collaborated and made their own video. Very interesting. What I was mainly up to around this time was just hanging out with everyone off set. We'd go to restaurants, bars, stuff like that.
Are you enjoying your Coke?
It's a Pepsi. Except for one time at the bar we frequented, Jim made a surprise inappropriate comment to me involving our waitress at the time, as he's done on multiple occasions. Though this moment was ultimately harmless, it did bring up a discussion among the rest of us about this behavior. Max has stories of Jim flirting with waitresses. So does Ryan. So, much later, when Ryan says this...
Another story that led to more of Max believing Jim to be, I guess, a creep, and it involved one trip to a restaurant that he and Jim had way back when Max was living with Jim. Apparently Jim was, making moves on the waitress and, continuously hitting on her, and he just wouldn't stop.
He is insinuating that Max is the only one with stories like this, and that Max was the only one who thought that Jim was acting inappropriate toward waitresses. Already in just this instance of this video, Ryan is either intentionally deceiving everyone by staying vague and manipulating facts, or after all these years, he's just turned into an idiot baby that genuinely forgot everything. However, when 2020 was starting to end and Max moved out of Jim's place, an evolution happened. Instead of complaining about Jim's behavior, why don't we just make fun of him? All the time. A group gossip tradition of sorts, spearheaded by Ryan, since, from what I remember, making fun of Jim would be more than half of the things he's ever said around me.
I'll do another one. I don't mean to be a Jim, but...
No, dude, go ahead.
Dude, okay, yeah, this next bug, I fucking hated this dude. They wanted him gone, dead.
Ryan would come over when Max and I were hanging out at his new apartment, busting in and saying shit like, "Yo, is this Nightcock's media production by Jim fucking Pagel? I'm gonna groom the shit out of you. Out of the darkness, we can all find light." Ryan would also make fun of his videos. One example that I remember Ryan religiously making fun of was Jim's new character at the time, Noctis. He made this character because in the rabbit hole video prior, Ryan donned his rabbit persona, and it was clear that this character was in a group with Max and Jim. So Jim probably thought, hey, I should make a cool character of my own. However, he was already fighting a losing battle, because the whole character thing was only cool when Ryan and Max did it. He also made fun of this. He also made fun of this.
I don't play by the rules.
Damn it. He also made fun of this.
Night Ducks. It's Nexpo.
People actually watch these videos and they're good, by the way. Nexpo's videos suck too. If you're an Expo fan, you're a retard. If you watched, I watched, what was it? The rabbit hole videos they're talking about, the rabbit stuff. Dude, so embarrassing, I gotta say. It's like the most embarrassing shit in the world. These people should be so ashamed of themselves. So it's a whole video about like some Twitter stalker he had who was just being like kind of annoying on Twitter. But it's spun like this. Like he's actually fighting for his fucking life. It's like so worthless. It's like so worthless and embarrassing. And there are all these fucking retired fans being like, oh, I hope you're okay, Nexpo. So, dude, I hate his videos. I hate his fans. I hate him. I hate all these people. Mutaha, Nexpo, MamaMax, Night Docs, all these people. They just all of you, just go. Just leave. Go. Disgusting. You make videos for 12-year-olds. You're disgusting.
All right, man. I haven't heard from you in a while. I'm not worried about you.
And so many more.
What am I doing?
I agree, brother. What are we doing?
You see, Ryan may look like a calm, calculated, and almost mysterious individual on camera. Off camera, however, he's a huge shit talker. He's also very impatient and quite condescending. In fact, just about every conversation I've seen Ryan in, he's always in the center of it with the loudest voice and the funniest jokes. A big ego only trumped by one other guy I know. Ryan's college...
Was that Madaha?
Funniest jokes. A big ego only trumped by one other guy I know.
We're talking about Madaha? Massive ego Madaha?
Oh. Ryan's college jock bro behavior would only be compounded with the introduction of Nick Crowley to the group in March of 2021. Not because Nick was particularly brutal to Jim or anything, he was always very toned back about it compared to what Ryan would spit out daily. And he was a bit late to the Jim lore, but because Nick was involved with the boys now, and there's another cool bro in the group, meaning Ryan has another cool bro friend to boast to, wait, what if we replaced Jim? And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Ryan's been wanting to cut Jim out for a long time, and he took this as the perfect opportunity. As of March 2021, this is the last month I can find collaborations with Jim and the rest of the group. And then there's my video, which appears to be the actual last one, however, it was also filmed in March. It wasn't just some big coincidence that Jim didn't appear in our videos anymore. It was indicative of what was happening behind the scenes. Meanwhile, the rest of us continued with collaborations, hangouts, and all the usual stuff with nothing notable until January of 2022 when we met up with Muda in Houston. This is where I met him and Jen for the first time in person. At this point, Muda was becoming much more involved with the group, or more specifically, Ryan. Nothing too notable, except for Ryan, who wanted me to tell my gym waitress story to Muda and Jen personally. And by this point, it wasn't uncommon for him to encourage others into talking about their own experiences with Jim. Why? You should ask Ryan. At this point, though, Jim wasn't just gone, he was still trying to keep touch, which we didn't, and he was rightfully upset about this. We took his kindness for granted, we slowly phased him out, and then we dumped him. And the fearless leader of the boys, the ultimate gym aficionado himself, was happier about this than anyone. If the other guys in the group were forced to tell you the truth, they would tell you something similar. So, that's what happened to Jim. In conclusion, there's a lot more I want to say, but I also wanted to keep this testimony brief. I don't know who exactly spread rumors that Jim is a predator that abuses his kids, because I wasn't at VidCon 2022 where these rumors started. I can only tell you what I've personally witnessed, which seems to be the opposite of the picture Ryan and Muda want to paint. They pinned this on the one guy who still wanted to maintain contact with Jim at this point. There's something clearly wrong with the mainstream narrative. Based on everything we've just covered, I'll let you be the judge. Jim deserves to know the truth, and he's long overdue for an apology. Jim, I'm deeply sorry for the way I treated you and how we all treated you. You deserve better friends.
Alright, we're rolling.
Okay, so I'm gonna say go this time. I'm probably gonna be like past the cars barely, and I'm gonna run slower. So it'll be easier to catch up and all that. So, alright, I'm gonna go now. Alright, go.
Jim, I am so sorry all of this happened to you. There's so much more I need to say.
I hate Max's fucking gay, pensive voice, man.
I miss you, man, and I hope you can walk away from all of this stronger than ever. And no matter how much fire you come under, remember that you're Jim fucking Pagel. Bulletproof.
Ugh.
So Max, how does it feel to have Leviathans come for you? Not good, I assume. I mean, you did end up being revealed to be a backstabbing manipulator who betrayed his friends and fans. We all know what you did tonight, Docs, Maxie boy, and we do not forget. I understand why you feel this way, given all the videos you must have watched about me. But I hope hearing my side can show you that the truth is a little more complicated than what YouTubers might make it seem.
Ryan? Sure? What's up? What want to say, man? Fucking love you, dude.
I know. Bye.
Bye.
Dude.
Hey Max, longtime fan here. I was wondering quite a few things, actually. Firstly, what is this story I keep hearing about Night Docs and your allegations against him? If you did tell people he was a predator, then Nicholas Diorio is correct in that this situation means two things. You either protected a predator through years of silence, or you lied, attempting to destroy a YouTuber's career. What actually happened there? I don't think Night Docs is a predator. We've made jokes in our friend group. I wouldn't call it predatory, but I would not call it... I would rather respect his privacy. Secondly, what's with suing your supposed friend Mutahar for $1 million, telling the victim that he's rich and so seeking $1 million would help with the case?
I basically realized that this person wants to effectively sue me for a large chunk of money, okay? An obscene amount of money. Why? Because to me, all this appears is all I ever was to this man was an extremely rich friend who had enough social media clout for him to piggyback his stupid case off of.
My stupid case? So yeah, I thought he was my friend too. Until I saw the...
Okay, are we getting into the Mutahar section now? How long is the Mutahar section? Do I almost want to save the Mutahar section? I don't. We're not going to do this whole video tonight, so do I almost want to cut before the Mutahar section? We need to finish the first MamaMax video, guys. We're going to get into that now. I want to get through as much of the MamaMax stuff tonight as I can. Dude, what? It's a 3-hour video? Dude, WMax making a 3-hour hit piece on Mutahar. Honestly, awesome guy. Seriously, awesome guy. What an awesome guy. Let's let's catch ourselves up on just a bit of this first. This is totally not because I'm going to be grabbing food in 2 seconds. Let's run this back and catch ourselves up.
Longer history together than any of us. Forget the fact that Jim sourced an important location and actor for the film, along with being one himself. Also, forget the fact that Jim made an entire...
I ordered. Give me a break, okay?
...score just for this video. Despite how useful Jim was to this project, Ryan just wasn't having it. Ryan's lack of consideration for Jim would only get worse from here. After filming for Ben Drowns Again concluded, Neff and his partner went home and it was down to the four of us for the rest of 2020. Max started living with Jim for a few months and we would all continue to regularly collaborate.
I'm not caught up on this MamaMax shit. We unironic team Max here. No, Max still fucking sucks, but he had a good point about the Expo stuff. Basically, there was the whole Night Docs and Expo drama behind the scenes. It was mainly Nexpo pushing it along, but he made it seem like it was entirely Max. And yeah, so basically framed Max for cancelling Night Dogs behind the scenes when that wasn't really the case. We've still got to watch appearance on Nick DiOrio, to be fair. So that might not be entirely true. Who knows? He might save himself. But yeah, Max has got a couple of legitimate grievances, legitimate gripes with other people involved. But he's still a piece of shit and his videos were still dog shit. I think that's all that's really relevant. Let's watch this Mutaha segment. I want to make sure I'm really paying attention for this Mutaha segment. So we finished the Expo segment. We watched this last time. Little brief catch up here. Now Mutaha segment. So I hope Max is going to say something that's more interesting, more compelling than just he broke my NDA in this segment. I hope it's not just that. But if there's not more than that, we do have a 3-hour video about Mutaha that he just released after this, so...
Nick?
What? You know, Nick is just so happy whenever some fucking retard plays this.
Just so everyone is clear on this, Mutahar digitally signed a non-disclosure agreement to protect the identities, testimonies, and evidence of the survivors, and was only allowed to release it with their consent. And then he breached that agreement multiple times.
Okay, I just got confirmation. Mutahar just fucking DM'd me.
Especially when there's...
Mutahar just fucking DM'd me. Saying that there's not even proof confirming that there's even evidence. I thought he was bullshit.
Is Loam a rape denier? Is Loam denying rape here? What?
About the NDA. If Mutahar actually did have to sign an NDA to see the information, he broke that NDA with me because he told me in my DMs that it's what the evidence is.
Keep in mind, Mutahar did not talk to any of the survivors when he was leaking this information. And
wait, why is that? Okay, I understand using... Sorry, just brief aside. I understand. I'm totally locked on the Israel-Palestine stuff. My brain is completely... I'm cooked. I am cooked. I'm never going to be able to stop talking about politics for 5 minutes. If you send me something politics related, I will just switch topic immediately. So, why is Dan... Like, why even... I understand you want... So I'm gone. Why try and weigh into India-Pakistan as part of your anti-Semitism campaign? This is just a stupid thing to do. Face of Twitch and the runner-up anti-Semite of the year is calling India a rogue terrorist state in defense of Pakistan. Surprise Pikachu face. I mean, that's a perspective. Why do you disagree?
It violates the sovereignty of another nation state. So is Russia. A great example of this would be Russia. Any state that violates the sovereignty of another state and strikes civilian targets is a fucking rogue terrorist state. She didn't even say India is a terrorist rogue state. I think she just said India is a rogue state. But I would go so far as to say, yeah, they're doing terrorism. Also, her analysis on the matter is putting the BJP guy in a very different light. Like she's coming across way more restrained and way more informed instead of just simply saying, I don't give a shit that there's no evidence, no direct ties to Pakistan involvement in the terror attack that took place. Who gives a fuck? They've been doing this for 30 years. We have to get blood. Seems a little crazy to say, especially when you're trying to defend your position in the Western world by presenting yourself as like a reasonable, restrained, sovereign nation state.
And then attack at will.
Okay, so that seemed totally fine so far. Is there something I'm supposed to disagree with there, or?
And kill civilians, women, children, send them to hospitals in large...
I'm sorry, I'm vehemently anti-Modi and his agenda, but to call India a rogue terrorist state is absolutely incorrect. I mean, this severe escalation that violates all... This is a rogue terrorist action, a rogue terrorist state action. That's precisely what that was, what happened. Like, just like what Russia has done in Ukraine makes it a rogue
Okay. Okay.
And he is the very reason
yeah, thanks,
why
Dan. Thanks, Dan.
People were not taking the evidence.
Yeah, for real. Of all the crazy shit Hassan has said, you choose to complain about this.
Seriously.
Exactly what is the supernatural here? Like, let's just try to understand that.
Did you hear any of the lore?
But then, after he talks to the survivors, and they walk him through the evidence, now it is all of a sudden one of the most serious of cases.
I'll say what the evidence, like, appears at least. It feels like there's definitely, like, a bad... it's like the worst I can see is somebody taking advantage of people, like, emotionally, sexually.
Nick Fury, I was in that call. I didn't talk. I said, like, a hi at the start, and then I immediately got the vibe, went on mute, and left after, like, 30 minutes. I was in this at the start.
But then, after he talks
I heard Xylee and Boblack screaming back and forth. And I went on mute, and I was, like, sat here with just, like, a pained expression, and I just left. I was just like, okay, let's just go do content.
Survivors, and they walk him through the evidence, now it is all of a sudden one of the most serious of cases.
I'll say what the evidence, like, appears at least. It feels like there's definitely, like, a bad... it's like the worst I can see is somebody taking advantage of people, like, emotionally, sexually, physically. Looking at this whole story and talking to people that were actually affected by it, I think that there was, like, really...
You forget, you stole a Deeper Armor quote, farmed laughs and left to cover tomfoolery.
There was illegal shit that happened, right?
Awesome.
Look, there are real people that I believe have been hurt by this. And for that considering, I am giving my full support as much as I can. Speaking with more of the victims after this call myself, I feel very disgusted hearing any more about the situation and the things that have been alleged to go behind it, which is why I'm doing my due diligence to at least try and help these victims out, but privately, not a public spectacle like Max is doing. I think I'm just going to take the day off today and get on the stream with you boys.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to burn you because I've asked you for so much already. But
no,
man.
It's good to work with you.
Oh man,
this whole thing has been so fucking insane, bro. I'm so glad that call came out. Ever since she made that, like, post on her Discord, it's like, this call will make him look bad. I'm like,
that's why I made it the thumbnail, dude. I just wanted that to be the first thing people see.
I literally, like, the moment I saw that, I was like, dude, I'll just fast track her it up and just release this fucking thing myself.
So, just to make sure we're all on the same page, Mutahar was verifiably defaming me, the survivors, and this case with these public statements he made both before...
So if he's defaming you, why aren't you suing him?
And after signing a non-disclosure agreement.
And I think the NDA stuff is really wild too. It's like, obviously, I think NDAs are like designed to, I feel like it's almost like a way to add some level of credence to this. Like, there's some crazy case, like NDAs aren't enforceable in this situation. Like, I mean, I could leak out everything. What's going to happen? Are you going to sue me or something?
So what this means is that Mutahar Anas signed an NDA under false pretenses with the intention to release information without the consent of the survivors.
But you're going
You didn't sign it with the intent to. Okay, that's not true.
Publicly and saying that to everybody else when you haven't spoken to the others. I'm just trying to understand, why would you do that without talking to us?
Which can fall under breach of contract, defamation, negligence, and since this does pertain to a criminal investigation, it could also fall under tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice, and contempt of court. I've actually been speaking with multiple legal professionals who all seem to think we have a very solid case. And given what's happened with Karl Jobst recently, I'm pretty confident that we could sue Mutahar for a lot more than $1 million, given the amount of damage he has caused.
If you make a serious fuck up like that, I think not only is removing the video a big problem, but you really got to go onto your main channel and address these situations. If you make a fuck up, especially one where you inadvertently end up slandering somebody, you got to cover for that.
And that money could absolutely help the survivors and this case. He has repeatedly claimed that he would provide financial and legal support for the survivors.
I am giving my full support as much as I can, whether that be emotionally, whether that be helping them liaison with actual law enforcement agents or lawyers, and providing whatever form of financial, benefit that I can, reasonably provide.
But that has yet to come to fruition, because from what the survivors have told me, Mutahar has not actually provided any financial, legal, or emotional support like he's been publicly claiming.
Yeah, because it's a retarded dude. Based Max, honestly. Yeah, go after Mutahar on this. Mutahar's a terrible, terrible person. Yes, obviously, he just says retarded shit like this. That he doesn't, like what? You're going to help Spencer? You're going to buy Spencer a fucking Burger King? That's what you're going to do, Mutahar? You're going to buy Spencer a Burger King and help her talk to fucking social services? Is that really how you're spending your fucking time? No, it's not. Obviously, you're not spending your fucking time like that, are you, Mutahar? So why are you pretending on a video like you give a shit? You lying fuck.
At least in the case of Camden Gerard Davis, there is proof. There is evidence of malfeasance. Just because Mutahar said it's nothing substantial doesn't mean it's nothing substantial. He didn't even know what he was looking at. He didn't talk to any of the survivors when he made that comment.
I don't have that proximity to it, but I'm like, it looks more like an erotic roleplay server where like boundaries are really crossed.
An erotic roleplay server where boundaries were really crossed. What does that even mean?
None of that is even...
Like, that's what I'm still putting it out as.
So that's not what happened, and also sounds almost incoherent. As with everything Mutahar says.
Max is not like an idiot. Like, I think he's smart enough to know it, but he's like, fuck
Dude,
it.
how do people not realize how fucking stupid Mutahar is? It's actually so retarded.
So we're clear, the survivors came to me claiming it was a cult. And after my conversations with actual experts, I do think it is a cult.
I'll make it look more spookier than I can, because his audience is like that true crime audience. And I'm going to say it, like, the true crime audience is like the most retarded audience on YouTube. You could fucking feed them the biggest load of bullshit, and 9 times out of 10, they'll believe it.
He was actively undermining the awareness campaign. He was reaching out to historical detractors of the channel and going on live streams with them before talking to me or any of the survivors and talking shit about the case. Here's just one example out of many. Mutahar repeatedly attacked us on the live stream.
Gay way of phrasing it, absolutely gay way of making this point. The point isn't that he was undermining survivors or any gay shit like that. That's absolutely dumb as hell. That is dumb as hell. However, what Mutahar is doing is his standard play with his friends. His typical play with his friends. The same thing he did with Nux beforehand. If you remember, he goes on Chuds, and he basically sells Nux down the river. Kind of like does it twice, almost. Just sells Nux down the river, because he can feel a little bit of heat coming towards him. Pretty obvious, I think, he did the same thing with Nick. Whereas Nick had a bit of heat for the Max stuff, Mutahar was tangentially involved. Mutahar's washing his hands of it and selling Max down the river, despite having seemed to be, totally accepting when talking to him face-to-face or in DMs.
Of people who hate me. Perhaps the most vocal among them is Tommy C.
I'm gonna be just straight up honest with you. I want this child exploiter pinned to a cross, and I think that you're gonna see a lot more MamaMax content from me.
The fact that this is the first person Mutahar chooses to speak with about this case should speak volumes about Mutahar's true intentions.
Go look into this.
Yeah, he wants an unquestioning retard to eat up whatever he's gonna say. I agree.
MamaMax's bullshit story, Mutahar.
Apparently there was a clip of Tommy C in here that's been edited out because it was in poor taste.
No, I'm legit.
Was it the clip of him talking about getting molested or something?
Legitimately angry. And
well, I mean, I'm like I want you to tell me more. I like it's like the anger is good. It's just like fucking you gotta.
I can't think straight.
I am learning.
I am learning from the angry man who just said he can't think straight. No, yeah, the anger is good. It's not like it clouds your judgment and obstructs critical thinking. The anger is good.
I don't know how much of that 4-hour interview you've seen.
Nothing.
That podcast.
He just said he has seen nothing. So Mutahar was learning from an angry man who can't think straight, who constantly spreads disinformation on his targets, who made multiple streams about how I am a scammer, has seen nothing. What?
It's this whole situation.
Can you send in the video he made on me?
Max got stomping Tommy C right now.
One summer.
Please teach me your ways. Washed up commentary channel number 46,853.
Tommy, that video was not about you.
So I'm supporting Max on this. WMax.
He gave you a 3-minute segment, and rest assured, Mutahar already watched it. This is the text he sent me after
I
he
like
watched it.
Mutar as cooler cousin Sumito. He's way funnier. Check him out, guys.
Thank you for the $7.99, Jakub. What? How did Chud sweep for this? Max just owned Tommy. He does spread non-stop disinformation on people he's talking about. That's true.
That one summer.
Please teach me your ways. Washed up commentary channel number 46,853.
Tommy, that video was not about you. I gave you a 3-minute segment, and rest assured, Mutahar already watched it. This is the text he sent me after he watched it.
I'll just lie about GFC, man. Does Jen know? Yeah, we're trying to talk about it. No need to bring up XGFs. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, it sucks. Wait, what? What is this first part of this conversation? What is this? Mutahar says, or just lie about it. Max says, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Does Jen know? Yeah, we try not to talk about it. No need to bring up ex-girlfriends. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, it sucks. What are you hiding, Mutahar? What are you hiding? Or just lie about it? Well, there's no evidence here, so I wouldn't want to jump to making glow. But what is Mutahar hiding here? Ooh. I think you put our friend Tommy on suicide watch, bro. Wait, for real? Well, I saw the first part and foul. If he didn't already, he should. No way. Mutahar sitting there talking shit on Tommy C behind his back with MamaMax. Dude. Oh, dude, you just love it when everyone you hate is tearing each other apart. I hated Max for years. I hated this guy's videos. Because I'm not... Because, you know, most commentary YouTubers, someone like Tommy C, someone like Mutahar, even Nicholas Diorio, Augie, these people who kept mostly quiet for years, despite being pretty much right next to all this stuff happening all the time. Because most of these people, I understand, are next level, like, audience captured. And so if you, at that time, if you said anything like, wait, guys, I think actually, even if someone's a pedophile, it's not okay to make a video showing pictures of our house and calling for violence against them. Because they're audience captured drones who were totally incapable of saying something like that to their audiences and standing on it and actually having the fight over it. They just didn't realize this. So I hated Max back then. Now, it became very easy to talk shit about Max after it turned out it was all fake. You actually don't have to... If it's all fake, you actually don't have to do any of the difficult moral calculations. You can just go, oh, this is all fake, and write it off, and then call the guy a terrible person and shit on all the content. And all of a sudden, there's no moral calculation where you actually have to think like, oh, is it okay to dox and call for violence against someone just because you think you've proved that they're a pedophile? No, obviously not. You never have to do that thought process now because it's all fake. So now it's very easy to hate Max. It's a lot more difficult to shit on someone like Mutahar because he's simultaneously too dumb to give a real take, but also smart enough to know that he shouldn't try. So I'm glad we're getting something on Mutahar here. Where was that text? I accidentally went back.
What? Commentary. Oh, you. I gave... This is the text he sent me after he watched it. I think you put our friend Tommy on suicide watch, bro. Wait, for real? Lol, I saw the first part. LMFAO. If he didn't already, he probably should. And now, all of a sudden, he is pretending to be best friends with Tommy C. Someone he constantly talked shit about.
I mean, I've had this discussion with Tommy recently, and actually I would say Tommy C and his call-outs with Max, because I have respect for Tommy C. I've talked to him, and I think if he's going to say something, there's probably some weight to it.
Most of you will have no idea how hilarious this is to hear. But other YouTubers who have heard Mutahar talk about Tommy C behind closed doors will know that he is bullshitting all of you. For example, before we started recording for the Some Ordinary podcast, Mutahar told me not to worry about Tommy Senile, because nobody has any respect for him anyway.
Tommy Senile. Ain't no way. Tommy Senile. Holy fuck.
About Tommy Senile, because nobody has any respect for him anyway. He has no respect for Tommy C. He has no respect for any other creator. He has zero respect for his own audience.
Oh yeah, ha ha ha, Lumpy Willie. Thank you for the pedophile donation message again. Thank you for the $4.99.
Yes.
A lot of people watching YouTube cannot critically think anymore. So when that video came out, and I was like, I'm reading the comments, I'm like, yo, they're eating this shit up. What the f? And then like I make a video and everyone, yeah. And then like I make a video and everyone like flips. I'm like, you guys are the worst people. You cannot critically think whatsoever.
It's not that your audience can't critically think. It's the fact that we have misplaced our trust in you. Furthermore, why did you sleep on this Camden Gerard Davis case for 3 years only to expect multiple influencers to immediately jump on it as soon as you start discussing it? Why tell people to hurry up and discuss it, such as making videos about critical, not immediately responding to you, when you yourself didn't respond about this case for 3 years? People tell me about allegations all the time. I don't really know what's real and what's not until I actually look into it. Spencer kept messaging me, and once she invited me to the Discord server with the other survivors, that's when I realized, oh shit, this is important. I should have exercised patience, as they have done, but it was just so sad to see all of them. They kept trying and trying and trying to tell their story, and no one wanted to listen. And now I'm here, and I'm telling all of my friends.
I'm telling you, mate, he just needs to make videos that are in his old style, but they're just about, like, Mutahar and Tommy C, Nick Diorio, who else would be good for Max go after? Liam Donovan. He just needs to make old MamaMax videos, but going after just, like, content creators that have, like, either wronged him or that are, like, I don't know, slightly annoying or dishonest. But they're full blown. They're like his old videos.
And none of them wanted to listen. Your involvement would entail a brief 15-minute session, allotting 3 minutes per survivor.
Fake pedo allegations too, actually. Fuck it. Fake pedo allegations against everyone.
A subsequent Q&A is optional. And no one showed up. Yeah, I was just like, fuck it. I'm gonna launch this case into everyone's face by fake canceling Charlie. And I was praying, I was hoping that he would just sit down and listen to them. And I know the importance of this case and cases like this will only grow as time continues. So maybe one day it will carry the urgency that it deserves. But Mutahar divided all of the survivors and made sure that they didn't talk. And that's really sad. Because many cases like this often only begin after a public awareness campaign.
And when we found out what else was going on behind closed doors, I'm talking crimes ranging from blackmail, forced labor, child trafficking, I was mortified. So I went to the authorities with a band of fellow shocked ex-members, and we blew the proverbial whistle. But they didn't do anything. Fell on deaf ears because they didn't know what they were looking at. So we went to the press. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm on the front page of the New York Times. It's not exactly what I was imagining my life would be when I started out as an actress, but here we are. After that, the rest is cult history. A dramatic arrest in Mexico, a 6-week trial, a 4-hour deliberation, and ultimately, a 120-year prison sentence for Nexium's founder. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Dude, who cares? Bro,
Also,
who
why
cares?
did you lie about certain predators being in police custody, such as Zach Haddad, aka Pablo Sonny, when in reality you didn't know if he was in
that's
police
like
custody?
nothing like, dude, I'm sorry, Nixrim is like nothing like the Camden Gerard Davis case. You're like, what an insane comparison. This is like multiple people being kept in like compounds and shit. Camden Gerard Davis lived in some fucking, like the whole cult story here is absurd. This is some just black guy. I can't imagine. Listen, this is not racist, I swear. This is just statistical analysis. Generally, I'm assuming probably didn't live in a mansion. Okay, I'm just assuming didn't live in a mansion. Okay, so the idea that he is living in a house that is that is big enough for him to run a cult, yeah, with his mother there. Lived in his mom's house, not in a mansion, with this fat bitch coming over that he's apparently sneaking in and out. And apparently he's also, what, I guess, like, sex trafficking and stuff as well? Like, how is this happening? Please explain to me how this is happening. Section 8 a la carte. No, but for real. But for real. Actually, though.
So a 6-week trial, a 4-hour deliberation, and ultimately a 120-year prison sentence for Nexium's founder. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Also, why did you lie about certain predators being in police custody, such as Zach Haddad, aka Pablo Sonny, when in reality you didn't know if he was in police custody? I was just dispensing the information that I was given. So just for quick context, Pablo Sonny is a...
Okay, totally retarded point because he's already misportrayed this in the first section. So anything he says about the Pablo Sonny shit is fucking stupid. Because he says very clearly that he was in police custody because of the video, but then says, well, no, he's not in police custody. I don't know what happened as well in the same podcast. He gives like 2 different answers.
Child predator we found on IMVU. He has multiple victims that I made contact with on the platform, and I confirmed that he was grooming minors via direct investigation. We verified his face with a specific hand gesture, and his voice can be confirmed by his friends. You can watch the full videos if you want more detail, but here's a paraphrased version of our call.
You know I'm 14 though, like, you know, like...
Sorry, okay.
You know...
I'll try and get to Gorsov at some point, not
what
tonight.
You're doing, like, you said you're 24, right?
I want you to know that I know that what I did was wrong, and I'm sorry, and I'm really just begging you, like, sincerely, just, like, you know, you realize I would go to jail? Like, I would go to jail for, like, 10 years.
But don't I, like, I already have your face, like...
I don't know, and I don't want to give you more, like...
Because I can already tell my mom right now.
What are you gonna tell her, though? You're really gonna do that? Like, why do you want to ruin my life? Like, why? Like, can we just be friends? Like, that's not something that friends do. Like, if we're gonna, do you want to be actually be friends? I was, you know, going through a hard time. Like, there's a lot of shit that I was going through.
It sounds fake. I literally have no context for any of this. Don't care about it. Go back to shit talking Mutahar. It was when this guy was shit talking Mutahar and Tommy C. That was fucking awesome. Now he's doing this gay shit. Fuck that. Go back to talking shit on Mutahar.
And you know, I just was lonely, and my life is.
Like, paraphrased cool. Wait, this is a real. Wait, what is even the point in this then?
Really hard, and you know, I have to take care of it.
Dude, fuck me. I literally don't care. Hello?
Were released.
Like, you want that to happen to me because we talked for one day?
After our videos were released, he was exposed to his local community, the Vancouver music scene, many of which I made contact with. Here are the Instagram messages
Okay, so it's just people saying last I was in police custody.
between me and Zach Haddad's former friend. Hey, I'm making an update video on Zach. Would you like to do an interview for it? Hey man, thanks for the message. Last I heard, he was in police custody.
Okay, again though, it just means your research is shit. You state things as fact when you haven't verified them. Like, someone on Facebook Messenger told me that he's in police custody. Wow, great fact checking, bro. Wow, awesome stuff, man. That's awesome stuff. I really have faith in your pedophile accusations.
I thought this a fair bit these past few days. I respect your platform and the way you unveiled this information. All of us in the community are still dealing with the weight of it daily, but it gets better only with time. I think I'd rather not do an interview for the video, but would be happy to share my words in written form with you as long as I can remain anonymous. Those closest to me and closest to this situation know how I feel about it, and I posted my thoughts a little while ago after processing this. I am happy to contribute my words to the video, but that's as far as I'm willing to be involved for my own comfort level. No worries, man. A written statement will work just as well. Hey, we have not heard anything on Zach Haddad for a couple of months, either from authorities or peers. We are still in contact with his victims wanting to testify against him. Do you know anything that could help us? Hey Max, thanks for reaching out. We haven't heard any updates about him at all since your video in November, and the whole community here has essentially tried to heal and move on healthily.
I don't care. I
don't care.
We will continue
to condemn his actions and stand with any victims while trying to build a safer scene here. But nobody knows anything new.
So I just don't even think anyone's gonna buy this. Like, almost none of this even matters. Like, there's so much fake shit in his videos. It's like, what? Well, this one time, someone on Facebook Messenger actually did tell me the thing that I said that was untrue. Okay. And? So your research on this sucked, and this is the only one you're able to vindicate yourself on. Okay.
Even where he is. Here are some Instagram messages between me and his former roommate. Hey, has the police put out a statement? I figure they asked everyone to not work with us, but I want to be sure they're actually doing something. Haven't heard anything yet. Do you or anyone has the contact information of the investigator assigned to the case? We have the hotel Zach is staying at and want to give them the information if they're going to use it. We are trying to leave this off of our hands now as we've done all we can. We're still dealing with the aftermath of his eviction and providing support for the people who are closest to him. We don't have any contact for the investigators. For now, we would like some space as we are also grieving and processing this situation. We also appreciate all the help. Hey, sorry to bother you, but we have not heard anything on Zach Haddad for a couple months, either from authorities or peers. We are still in contact with his victims wanting to testify against him. Do you know anything that could help us?
The case never went anywhere.
Unfortunately, I don't. Haven't heard from any of his family, and the law enforcement didn't take any action after we all gave statements and offered any evidence in the house. Thank you for your response. Do you know anyone who has contact with him, or know if he's still with his girlfriend when this all happened? Nobody that I know of is in contact with him, and they are not together.
Okay,
and
Max,
here are some
speed it up,
Instagram
buddy.
messages
Honk
between
shoe,
me and one of his former victims. Hi, I'm a victim of Zach Haddad's grooming and luring of young girls.
Like, none
he
of this
did not
is
do this online, but in
relevant.
person while he was 1920, and I was...
It's just a million different Facebook Messenger fucking screenshots of people just saying shit with no attribution. But I don't care what you've got to show me here.
15. Though the intentions of your video seemed harmless, the sensationalizing and dramatizations in the video were unnecessary. I know you have made plenty of money off of this video of yours. I ask that you donate the proceeds to victims of his that need therapy. To keep this AdSense and Patreon money to yourself is selfish and wrong. You do not get to capitalize off of young girls' trauma. I'm terribly sorry to hear that you're a victim of his. You have my gratitude for reaching out. I've been asking some of his ex-friends for a GoFundMe link, but no one has sent me anything yet. But I will happily make a donation. I'd also like to clarify none of my videos are monetized, and I only dramatize the content so that people will start to pay attention, which seems to...
What? Oh my god, what a wretched liar. None of my videos are monetized. I only dramatize content so people pay attention. Okay, so first of all, your videos aren't monetized, but you had a healthy Patreon, didn't you? I only dramatize the content so people will start to pay attention. I mean, I understand his argument, and this has been his argument the whole time with the dramatization thing. But obviously, you can't... There's only so far you can take... I'm dying. Only so far you can take dramatization of real pedophile allegations before it becomes either dishonest in its characterization or just, like, disrespectful to anyone that was involved. Like, the idea that you're doing... What was that one he did? Where there's, like, the bloody mattress in the woods? Or there's the one where he does the Dora thing or whatever, where he does like the thing of the little girl being raped in like an artsy way.
To have worked. Most of my audience are CSA victims, and they have been the ones requesting me to push my content in this direction, so I hope you can understand. Thank you for your quick reply. If I can help in any way in regards to exposing Zach, let me know. During this time, I went on a few podcasts and explained what was going on based on the information I had. Since this was a developing story, I make it clear that I don't know the full details.
What is your primary goal? Is that then? There's no. What's your other?
Well, I guess the question is like the next getting at is like, okay, so you want to enact this change. What do you hope is the eventual result of your video?
Okay.
Of all this.
So I know there's people out there saying I'm doing it to self-serve. I just want my video back up. I don't give a shit if my video comes back up. It did what it needed to do. That was in the video is currently in police custody. And
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video. The video was about IMVU and this one predator. I made it about him and him alone.
IMVU is a game, right? You played the game and you exposed this guy.
Yes.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned?
Yeah, so I dropped the video. The end of the video is a call to action. Usually all my videos are a call to action, like find him, and we did.
So in this case, find him meant like you didn't know who he was. You wanted his doc so he could go to jail.
All we had was his face and his voice.
Right.
And out of that, I said find him, and then within 24 hours, we found him. And then I started social engineering all of his friends to give me his information.
How about we see? This is what I mean, right? Turkey Tom and Nick Diorio. No questions, please. No pushback on the idea. How about YouTubers don't get involved in pedophile allegations and make calls to dox the person they think is a pedophile? How about we just don't do that? Actually, like this is what I mean. They're not. This is the point where you fight. There is a fundamental issue with Max's content. I understand it's easier to fight when you can just say it's all fake in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years time. But if you were actually evaluating this with any fucking sense, it wouldn't even need to get to that point.
And they did. And then we pegged him. He fled to Mexico. We found where he was in Mexico. I don't know if the police, he was from Canada, so I don't know if the police asked him to come back.
That's all terrible people are.
I don't know if the police asked him to come back or he went on his own volition or they forced him to come back. I don't know any of those details. I just know he went back to Canada and was in police custody for a certain amount of time.
So you lied?
No, Nicholas. Let's play the full clip.
He went back to Canada and was in police custody for a certain amount of time. I don't know if they did anything yet, but I will be making an update video about him soon.
So he was arrested at some point. It's fair to say that, you know that.
I don't know if he was arrested or they just like interrogated him. Like, you know how police they don't have to arrest you to question you.
Right.
Because I don't know if his victims, he did have previous victims before my video. I don't know if they ever spoke to the police about it. I was talking to one of them, but she hasn't been responsive recently. So I'm in the dark so far, but we're gonna get back on that after we finish this shit with YouTube.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Huh. Pretty funny how these commentary channels keep cutting out context to these clips and then
dark, so if I have to arrest you to question you.
Right.
Because I don't know if his victims, he did have previous victims before my video. I don't know if they ever spoke to the police about it. I was talking to one of them, but she hasn't been responsive recently. So I'm in the dark so far, but we're gonna get back on that after we finish this shit with YouTube.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Huh. Pretty funny how these comments.
So what has been the What's Nick's
what was going on
this?
based on the information I had. Since this was a developing story, I make it clear that I don't know the full details.
What is your primary goal? Is that then? There's no. What's your other?
Well, I guess the question is like the next getting at is like, okay, so you want to enact this change. What do you hope is the eventual result of your video?
Okay.
Of all this.
So I know there's people out there saying I'm doing it to self-serve. I just want my video back up. I don't give a shit if my video comes back up. It did what it needed to do. So that was in the video is currently in police custody. And
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video. The video was about IMVU and this one predator. I made it about him and him alone. Yes. So that was in the video is currently in police custody. And
was that as a result of your video, or was that prior to the video?
Yes, it was because of the video. The video was about IMVU and this one predator. I made it about him and him alone.
IMVU is a game, right? You played the game and you exposed this.
Okay, here's what I think. Max is kind of lying here, but I don't think it's as bad. I think Nick has kind of edited this in a way that makes the lie seem worse than it was, if you know what I mean. I think what's happening, Max is sort of like blagging, like, yeah, he's in police custody, when he's received a message that says basically like, oh, last we heard he was in police custody. So he wants to act like, he's acting like, oh yeah, he's in police custody. Yeah, we got this guy. And as they keep talking, he's like, well, I mean, he was in police custody. Well, I know he did return to Canada and he was in police custody. Which isn't even, that also isn't true. He didn't know that at all. But then the way Nick's edited it has made it seem as though Max just like lied about putting him in jail, basically, when that's not quite what happened.
This guy.
Yes.
Do you mind walking me through the chain of events that led from your video to him being imprisoned?
Yeah, so I dropped the video. The end of the video is a call to action. Usually all my videos are a call to action, like, find him, and we did.
So in this case, find him meant like you didn't know who he was. You wanted his doc so he could go to jail.
All we had was his face and his voice.
Right.
Max did claim that elsewhere. Right, okay. Well, then if it's claimed elsewhere and this clip is just like one of the times he claimed it, then that's a different situation, I think. It doesn't matter quite so much. The clip's still edited poorly, though, I think, because he has basically walk it back here.
And out of that, I said find him, and then
Or, well, not walk it back, he steps off of the position, I'd say. He's not, like, standing on it.
4 hours, we found him. And then I started social engineering all of his friends to give me his information, and they did. And then we pegged him. He fled to Mexico. We found where he was in Mexico. I don't know if the police... He was from Canada, so I don't know if the police asked him to come back.
That's all terrible people are.
I don't know if the police asked him to come back, or he went on his own volition, or they forced him to come back. I don't know any of those details. I just know he went back to Canada and was in police custody for a certain amount of time.
So you lied.
Yeah, so he says he went back to Canada. He was in police custody for a certain amount of time.
No, Nicholas. Let's play the full clip.
He went back to Canada and was in police custody for a certain amount of time. I don't know if they did anything yet, but I will be making an update video about him soon.
So he was arrested at some point. It's fair to say that. You know that.
I don't know if he was arrested or they just like interrogated him. Like, you know how police they don't have to arrest you to question you?
Right.
Because I don't know if his victims, he did have previous victims before my video. I don't know if they ever spoke to the police about it. I was talking to one of them, but she hasn't been responsive recently. So I'm in the dark so far, but we're going to get back on that after we finish this shit with YouTube.
So you did find out who he is. You did find out who he is, but you didn't put him in jail. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if we put him in jail, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Huh. Pretty funny how these commentary channels keep cutting out context to these clips and then misquoting me completely to things that I never actually said.
You went on and you said, this guy was arrested. It was because of me. It was because of my video.
So it's starting to look more like they are lying. And I was actually being completely honest and transparent. Regardless, I clarified Zakadad's fate in the subsequent video.
So the hunt continues. We theorize that they will try to find sanctuary in the Philippines where they have family. So all of my viewers who are Filipino, huwag mahiyang i-re-upload ang video nito at yung huling video na naisalin sa sarili niyang wika sa inyo na ring ang makita sa ad basta ipalaganap niyo ang mensahe.
So I don't think I lied. I'm not here to meme on you or make fun of you. I genuinely once believed you were making a difference at one point, but now I'm not so sure. I hope to hear answers from you soon, Max. I hope that answered some of your questions. I would like to continue this conversation. Why is Spencer claiming you're starving her? Just for context, Spencer is the cult survivor we were helping. Max starving and hurting Spencer? Looks like Spencer is on Facebook in groups asking for money for moving. She is claiming Max is domestically abusing her and starving her. She doesn't say his name,
I think Max is leaning on basically like, well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that when it's like, dude, you're going around saying you got accountability for these people, that you got them in police custody. It's like, if nothing's happening, you got to say nothing's happening. You're resting on implication purely.
It's very implied because she lives with him. Wasn't Max supposed to give her a bunch of money? Seems like she spent it or he lied. Here's screenshots I got but covered people not involved with him. I met this young girl online from a post she shared in a local group. She's doing her best to get out of a really bad domestic situation. She's trying to get back local to stay with friends where she will no longer have to starve, but can't bring herself to abandon her dog there. I know some don't get it, but some will. She found a friend who will foster her dog until she gets on her feet. She just needs some help. Even small donations add up.
This is a fucking scam. Where's my nacho fries? Yeah, dude.
All I can tell you is that we had plenty of food when she was living here. We always got her food every time she asked. When she wasn't buying her own food, I would go to the food bank and get her food or pay for her food or share our food with her. I even got her $31.63 worth of Taco Bell while she was packing her stuff, and barbacoa tacos at her request before she left.
I hope Nick's coverage was empathetic.
Besides that, I don't know. So are the allegations that Spencer brought up true? You decide for yourself. So apparently,
read the messages. Where are the messages? I just saw a picture of fucking eating her stuff in a fat face. All right, so she's hitting the vape.
Max starving and hurting Spencer? Looks like Spencer is on Facebook in groups asking for money for moving. She is claiming Max is domestically abusing her and starving her. She doesn't say his name, but it's very implied because she lives with him. Wasn't Max supposed to give her a bunch of money? Seems like she spent it or he lied. Here's screenshots I got but covered people not involved with him. I met this young girl online from a post she's banned foster at. All I can tell you,
we saw that back in the day. I remember covering that.
All I can tell you is that we had plenty of food when she was living here. We always got
Thank you. Here's a picture to show them that it's all spicy. They ran out of bombers, so you 3 spicy. Correct. They compensated with mac and cheese. Damn. Okay, that works. Hey, I just woke up. You're still out, right? Can I order food real quick? What's close to you? I'm at McDonald's. Okay, so you okay with me throwing an order in? Sure. Would you all be willing to pick up food for me on the way back? Where at? Taco Bell, please. Ooh. This absolute beast is texting you. Ooh. That's a self-defense situation. That's a self-defense situation. We're on our way back. Yay. Can you all pick up a McDonald's order for me on the way back? Yes, try and save money during the week. Belf will need food soon. Okay. Can we pick up food real quick, please? Can we pick up food real quick, please? I hunger, Max. Max, I hunger. Yeah, it's the same day. That's 22 days later. Yes, we'll get... Oh, when I walk the dogs after. I want to go for a walk, Spencer. I want to get some exercise, Spencer. Sure, I can't for long, though, because I have to get ready for my interview. What time? Is it noon? Okay. Can you pick up food on the way back? Where at? I'm looking real quick. One sec. Wendy's if you'll pass it. When you get there, can you ask them for like 3 handfuls of the hot chili seasoning? So what time do you want me to place the order? We'll probably get there in like 30 minutes, so preferably before then. Order place copy.
She asked.
Do you plan to get McDonald's tomorrow? And if so, can I put in an order for Belfie's food? No, never mind. It'll be delivered here from 2 to 4. Sounds good. Do you plan to get food today? Maybe later? Okay, let me know.
When she wasn't buying her own food, I would go to the...
Also, we separate the pantry for each person. That way, no one takes someone else's stuff. The other shelves are free to share.
food bank and get her food or pay for her food or share our food with her. I even got her $31.63 worth of Taco Bell while she was packing her stuff, and barbacoa tacos at her request before she left. Besides that...
I gotta eat talking about this.
I don't know. So are the allegations that Spencer brought up true?
Again. I'm just gonna go sort out.
You decide for yourself. So apparently one of her friends leaked a private message that I guess she was sending out to all her friends. So I ended up moving in with the YouTuber that was supposed to help me expose the cult as it was my last resort. So this is true. Spencer moved in because she was in the middle of a crisis, getting kicked out of her family home. She had nowhere else to stay, and since we were making a documentary, I thought it would be beneficial to have her close, especially since a big part of this documentary was to get her independence. There's also multiple people living at my house. She's been a family friend for years, and so I didn't think it would be weird if we invite her to stay in one of the empty rooms we have, temporarily. Even her father came to meet me and my other roommates, and we all agreed this arrangement was fine. But of course, the internet made malicious rumors about us because of this. In retrospect, it was a bad idea. I know, guys. You tried to tell me. Because she is a disrespectful roommate, a very demanding individual, and a hyperreactive personality, which we will address soon. He promised to cover food, medical, everything. Well, he only wanted to help for the money, so he never paid any of my medical from the start. This isn't true. I paid for her first few bills, but then after everything that happened, I literally could not afford to even keep us in this house unless we were all working together. And so she agreed to get a job and start earning on her own, which is what I wanted her to do anyway, so she could become independent. He was buying food at first, but then he tanked his career, which in turn has people convinced I'm a bad person like him, so people are stalking me online. So there are people stalking her and me online. There is a community of cyber stalkers that are really quite disturbing.
That slug. Dude. I'm not gonna lie. Go back where? I'm not gonna lie, like, this whole shit where they were getting him fired from the volunteer thing, that was fucked. I said that even then.
Multiple people living at my...
Like, if this guy wants to do, like, if this guy actually wants to help fucking, like, teenagers and shit, like, youths, in an actual way. Like, making videos about fucking pedophiles, no matter how good your pedophile videos are, does fucking nothing to help kids. Again, this is why it's so insane that Tom and Nick just sat there on that podcast years ago, nodding along like, oh yeah, this sounds great, this sounds great. It does fucking nothing to help kids. What will actually help kids is you going and volunteering at some fucking youth center. Teach them to do filmmaking. That actually does help kids.
And since we were making a documentary, I thought it would be beneficial to have her close, especially since a big part of this documentary was to get her independence. There's also multiple people living at my house. She's been a family friend for years, and so I didn't think it would be weird if we invite her to stay in one of the empty rooms we have, temporarily. Even her father came to meet me and my other roommates, and we all agreed this arrangement was fine. But of course, the internet made malicious rumors about us because of this. In retrospect, it was a bad idea. I know, guys. You tried to tell me. Because she is a disrespectful roommate, a very demanding individual, and a hyperreactive...
Dude, what? Dude. What?
Because she is a disrespectful roommate, a very demanding individual, and a hyperreactive personality, which we will address soon. He promised to cover food, medical, everything. Well, he only wanted to help for the money, so he never paid any of my medical from the start. This isn't true. I paid for her first few bills, but then after everything that happened, I literally could not afford to even keep us in this house unless we were all working together. And so she agreed to get a job and start earning on her own, which is what I wanted her to do anyway, so she could become independent. He was buying food at first, but then he tanked his career, which in turn has people convinced I'm a bad person like him, so people are stalking me online. So there are people stalking her and me online. There is a community of cyber stalkers that are really quite disturbing. And are genuinely cyber stalking.
First of all, I was one of the OG people to cover MamaMax. I was actually the person who got the feds.
What? Bro. Hambleton in the MamaMax response? Has he responded to any of this yet? I bet he's having a fucking mental breakdown. He's getting re-traumatized. MamaMax says he reported Himpy to the FBI in this video, by the way.
Sicked on him, which was a secret for a long time.
So this is just one of my many cyber stalking and are genuinely cyber stalking.
First of all, I was one of the OG people to cover MamaMax. I was actually the person who got the feds sicked on him, which was a secret for a long time.
So this is just one of my many cyber stalkers who has a documented history of stalking not just me, but many other people. They describe themselves as legitimately insane on their YouTube About page, and has obsessively created a number of disturbing videos about me, including one that's so egregious that it's unlisted, where he is stalking me, finding and murdering one of my team members, and decapitating them and sacrificing their severed head on an altar, or something.
This is the shit that Max does, though. Wait, how can Max cry about this? This is what Max does, first of all. This is literally what Max does. Also, he ripped this bit from Gakunaru.
These are the types of sources for the defamation campaign, and again, he is just one of many cyberstalkers that frequent the MamaMax cyberstalking subreddits. So in the beginning, I did advise Spencer to remain anonymous until the end of the documentary, but she did not like the idea. I warned her about the tactics people may use against us and suggested leaving the online interactions to me, but she continued to be hyper-reactive. And even after I told her that my subreddits are not actually mine, but are targeted by cyberstalkers, she still chose to interact with them. Every time I gave her advice, she ignored it. So she can blame me for people cyberstalking her, but you can't protect someone that isn't going to listen. So people are stalking me online, and wants me out because he's not making money off of me, but still wants to make money off of me. I never wanted to make money off of her.
Okay, you kind of did. That's cap.
I even told her she didn't want to do the documentary, and I told her that's okay. Hey Spencer, your birthday is coming up later this month, and I'd like to take you back to Wiley to be with your family. While we're there...
We've got the Spencer Taco Bell order. 4 soft tacos. 2 cantina chicken quesadillas. 2 servings of chips and nacho cheese sauce. 2 Crunchwrap Supremes. 1 beefy 5-layer burrito. 1 fountain beverage, 30 ounce. 1 cheesy gordita crunch. 10 Diablo sauce packets and 10 fire sauce packets. Dude, what? Americans actually eat like this, man. This is so crazy.
Here we should figure out the healthiest living situation for you. This current one isn't supporting the best lifestyle for any of us, and I don't want to add unnecessary pressure by pushing too hard or dealing with an eviction process. I still believe your story is incredibly important and should be shared with the world.
That's considered healthy eating in America. How do you guys do it? You do food groups, right? So you got what? Bread and the soft taco?
Help you write a memoir about your experiences both in and out of the cult alongside finishing this documentary. Let me know what you think and if you have any questions. I guess I'll have to find housing for Belfie so I don't lose him for good. Anywhere I'd have to go, can't house him. And honestly, I'd rather not do the documentary or anything else regarding the cult. It's not good for my mental health and I don't ever want to be in the public eye again after what happened. We can care for Belf if needed. And I don't blame you, we don't have to do the documentary. Your health is priority. But later down the line when you're feeling better, you should absolutely consider writing a book. Your experiences are important and you're not alone. But still wants to make money off of me? He got me a dog. We'll come back to that. He got me a dog and had me move everything I owned to anchor me. Yeah, I did not want her to move everything to anchor her. I did not know she was bringing her entire life with her, and she spent a lot of money. I simply wanted to document her experience throughout this entire process. I figured out a foster for my dog until I can figure permanent housing out.
Yeah, you wanted to document the experience for money, for your Patreon.
So I offered to keep him because I love that guy. And she said it was the last resort. Hey Spencer, I'm sorry things didn't go as planned. The internet is a strange place these days, and I thought reaching out to the right people would make everything okay. What happened to us was really traumatizing, not gonna lie, and I know therapy will help both of us. I encourage you to take all the healthiest steps. I want to see you happy again. I think going home is the best choice for you. All your roots are in DFW, and hopefully the green will cheer you up. Rest assured, Belf will always be yours, but we'll take good care of him if you need us to. I know things were tense at times living together, but I think time and space will help. You'll always have a friend in me, and if you ever want to talk, please reach out. I still believe you have an important story that needs to be heard, now more than ever. Get the recovery you deserve, but please don't ever give up. Thank you for being concerned about my mental well-being. I hope you are doing well, and if not, also seek the help that I am. I'm currently seeking a home for Belfie, as him staying here would be last resort, and I would hate to burden you further with taking care of him. You are right, this is an important story, but at this time I think I need to put the project on hold as I try to work on myself. But my biggest issue is needing someone willing to drive the full 18 hours from Dallas to here and back. I have the U-Haul trailer figured out, but I'm panicked because if I don't get out after my dog leaves on the 15th, I'll be stuck here until after my birthday, and have no way to really feed myself. None of that is true. How would I get my stuff back? Pack a few suitcases for the trip. We'll leave on the 24th early in the morning. Once y'all figure out the permanent residence for you, I'll pay for a pod and load it up and send it to you. That sound good? I have somewhere my stuff can go already. I could honestly pack up whatever would fit for now in my friend's car, so you don't need a big pod.
Was she just totally lying that Max was helping her move out, I guess?
She could come get me sooner if you'd prefer. I'll be staying with her anyways.
Spencer with a big evidence-shaped belly.
Having to live off donating plasma because I was limited to remote work, and I don't qualify for anything remote due to my experience. So
Spencer! Nick Diorio and Mutahar are questioning the grooming cult story. Where's the evidence gone? Stands in the corner, rubbing her big evidence-shaped belly. I don't know.
She wasn't the only one living off of donating plasma. We were all donating plasma because times were tough. I was limited to remote work. That's because we all got jobs and none of us could drive her to work. And she couldn't really perform at an actual job. So remote work was the best option for her. What the absolute hell did you send me? It's for AI training. It's legit, I promise. Dude, I don't have the brain capacity to answer everything at once. If this is the application, how hard is the job? Applications can be long, but the $20 an hour makes it worth the effort. I know you're capable of writing out complex ideas. I believe in you. I probably could if my mind didn't feel like a 50-car collision, but I don't have the mental energy for all that right.
Spencer, against all the odds, I believe in you. You're capable of second-order thought.
If I did, I wouldn't have so many unfinished stories from the past 5 years sitting in my docs. I called more vape shops and sent my resume.
Wow. Will only work at a vape shop.
Proud of you for job searching. Just a heads up, we are about to be super busy with work, so carpooling...
Have you tried stacking shelves, bitch? Have you tried putting fries in the bag? Tried burger?
...be less frequent, and a high-paying remote job would be best for you guys. More money means more chances to take care of your health, and better health will lead to an awesome life. This AI training job is a perfect opportunity. I know writing can be draining right now, but using your creative brain is like building a muscle. It gets easier and even feels empowering with enough time and effort. You might even get back to finish those stories, as you absolutely should. That's just my recommendation. I won't force it on you if you don't want it, but also don't give up so easily. I believe in you. But believing in yourself is what truly matters. So as you can see, she didn't even really want to try. He's not physically hurting me, but was withholding funds that were supposed to be mine since January. Saw me struggling to donate plasma just to feed my dog and myself. So the funds were meant for all of the survivors, not just for her. And after I discovered she was mishandling the money for her personal expenses, I took over as the financial manager. Also, she wanted to donate plasma. She was always asking us to take her to donate plasma. Even then, we never let Belf go hungry, whether or not she was paying for his food or not feeding him. Gaslights me and also tried to convince me to break up with Michael. I don't know what she means by gaslighting her, and I never tried to convince her to break up with her boyfriend. I was just asking her if she was in a healthy relationship, because by her own words, she has been in abusive relationships before. And as a friend, this current one didn't look that great, to me and pretty much everyone else. Mainly because he enables her self-isolation. She stayed in her room and talked to him 24/7. That looked very unhealthy to me. He had $5,000 that he was supposed to give back to me as funds for the survivors of the cult, but everyone else fucked off. I asked for the money every now and again, but his excuse was always something about bills. Yes, bills are real. I finally remembered again today, and he's taking $1,700 in expenses. And I told her I could itemize those expenses, but she said it was fine.
It's like, on one hand, I get the criticism that I thought there could be people that have issues with Max using the money for his rent. I almost just don't care. You know? There's just multiple levels to this, where it's like, you are so... Like, if you are a MamaMax fan, first of all, you are unfathomably retarded. And I look down on you like filth. I look down on you like absolute filth. If you were ever a MamaMax fan, truly. Because you have to be just, like, next level, You really do have to be like either a deeply traumatized person who has done nothing to get past whatever's going on in their head, and you make it everyone else's problem by spurking out constantly. The moment you hear anything about pedophiles, you're posting insane, violent rants on Twitter, and you're an annoyance to everyone around you. You probably have terrible personal relationships, or you were like the worst form of virtue signaling, wannabe edgelord, and I want you gone. Or you're a pedophile in denial. True. So immediately, I don't care if MamaMax scams his fans. That's just like a baseline, to be honest. I don't care if they get scammed. Now, I will still evaluate a scam claim. Max asked for money for the survivors. He offered for... He was like, guys, I need money to help the survivors out. I don't know how much the other survivors were involved at this point. Maybe they would want to contest this. I don't know, and I would be interested to see that, if that exists. But ultimately, if Max's career has been destroyed, Spencer's living with him. Yeah, paying his bills is spending it on the survivors. If that's what he needs to keep a roof over their heads, then that is... Well, yeah. That's how the money's going to get used. That kind of just makes sense. I'm not going to lie. Oh, no, all anonymous, though? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anything's coming out about it. Does Max address the stalking stuff? What, with his exes? There's no way Max will address the abuse allegations again. I don't think.
Also, whatever happened to the $5,000 in survivor funds I sent back to you in January for the GoFundMe? It could really help me access better mental health treatment when I leave, as well as get me situated when I arrive, and possibly even a storage unit for my valuables so I don't have to worry about moving everything I own in the future if I don't need it. It would really make things 10 times easier. You still have $3,300 after expenses. All I ask is to give me time to send it.
Because again, that MamaMax grooming, not grooming allegations, well, the abuse allegations against him. That's another point where people should have had more issue with Max, but they didn't because they are audience captured pussies who couldn't go against the pedo hunter. Absolutely zero scrutiny applied to that video at the time.
Is 5 payments of $660 per month okay? What expenses? Housing and utilities, Belf's property damage, the hitch, etc. Would you like me to provide an itemized breakdown? No, that's fine. Just wanted to double check. Could you possibly send that first payment before Belfie leaves so I can get him a bag of food for his trip? But I decided it was better to give the rest of the money to the other survivors because Spencer used the money for personal expenses. Hey, I'm in the ER right now and may be admitted. I really need that second payment by tomorrow, please. Hey Spencer, what are you in the ER for? Respiratory, came in last Monday too, but I have not improved. I wake up literally unable to breathe at all, and I'm now admitted, just waiting to be trained.
Dude, no way I'm muted. Bruh, no way I'm muted. Bruh. How long was I muted for? Okay, no one's giving me an actual answer, so I literally got no idea. Last 4 pauses. I don't remember what I said in that time. Oh my god. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, dude. It seems fine if Max is given the survivors the rest of the money, assuming there's no contrary evidence that any of them release or Spencer releases or anything. That seems totally reasonable, just give them the money. However, I don't really understand what they're survivors of, unless, like, dating an autistic black guy is a experience akin to rape, in which case Spinal has a bad future ahead of him.
Use the money for personal expenses. Hey, I'm in the ER right now and may be admitted. I really need that second payment by tomorrow, please. Hey Spencer, what are you in the ER for? Respiratory, came in last Monday too, but I have not improved. I wake up literally unable to breathe at all, and I'm now admitted, just waiting to be transferred, but I have 2 ER visits to pay off now. They're giving me magnesium right now. I'm really sorry to hear that, but I've already distributed the remaining funds to other survivors since it was meant for everyone. However, I can definitely send you some resources for financial assistance with medical bills if you'd like. No, you said you would be paying me $3,300. You don't get to go back on that after a little bit of time has passed. You do not get to make decisions about where the funds go without talking.
Okay, Max, some of this, Max is cooked in some of this video. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give him credit. He's cooked in a few places on this video.
If you'd like. No, you said you would be paying me $3,300. You don't get to go back on that after a little bit of time has passed. You do not get to make decisions about where the funds go without talking with me about it. You knew I needed therapy and agreed to payments. You need to honor that. I understand you're expecting payment, but after reviewing the contract, it's clear that the financial responsibilities weren't met, and the majority of the funds were used for your personal expenses. Unfortunately, since the documentary wasn't completed, you're not entitled to any remaining funds. If you're not interested in the medical resources I offered, I'm afraid there's nothing more I can do at this point. I hope things improve for you. So I just want to bring up the fact that she gets free therapy through an organization known as LifePath, plus her respiratory problems are caused by her own chronic smoking. Here's one out of many conversations we had regarding her smoking.
Smoking doesn't cause breathing problems. Okay, shut up, man. It's also possibly because she's so fucking fat, too. Have you thought about this, Max? I called and gave my info. She's going to talk to an attorney. Will he go? Great. Consulting for mental coding is expensive. That's a job. It can be, but I'd have to go to school for it. Probably researching already. If you don't pick through school, you have to commit and would need some financial aid. But it sounds awesome. I agree. If something can help me forge a high school diploma.
Consulting for medical coding, but it's expensive. That's a job? It can be, but I'd have to go to school for it. Proud of you for searching already. I'd be down to put you through school. You just have to commit and we would need financial aid, but that sounds awesome. I agree. Do you know someone that can help forge me a high school diploma? I also need to figure out for sure what I'd want to do. Just get your GED. Committing crimes is only going to harm you in the long term. If you need help getting
started... It's not true. You can probably fake high school qualifications your entire life, to be honest.
Started, that's what I'm here for. Education will absolutely help in every area of your life. That just costs more time and money, though. It's a very powerful investment that will help throughout your life. With that said, chronic marijuana use will hinder your learning significantly. So if you want to pursue that, then you'll have to find alternative forms of medication. Then education is out. I have no other form of pain relief that doesn't risk addiction. Okay. And I'd rather not be in pain than be book smart. Understood, but it's an option that I cannot recommend enough for positive...
He's just... Well, okay, Max is just trying to laughing at these messages in his pre-recorded video now. Fucking idiot.
I have no other form of pain relief that doesn't risk addiction. Okay.
Dude.
And I'd rather not be in pain than be book smart. Understood, but it's an option that I cannot recommend enough for positive long-term impact. Also, you don't have to completely quit to pursue education. I'm just personally recommending moderation if you do want to pursue education. But please don't give up on your education. You can do great things for the world, and that will only help accelerate you towards an incredible future. Okay, I'm done now. Sorry for the spam. If you make a post, please just don't name me as people on Reddit.
Yeah, I think Max should get in contact with Camden. Start bringing to light Spencer's abuse. Start bringing to light Spencer's pattern of abuse. I think this is where we need to go next.
Are stalking me because of this YouTuber, and I don't want to add any fuel to their fire, but hey, even calling around means the world. I'm taking what I can get at this point. So I think Spencer was just trying to villainize me so people will feel more sorry for her and more inclined to help. But I did try my best to help her. Here's just one example where I'm trying to figure out what she needs. Do you want to go to the movies with us tonight? Can I let you know by 2 or so, having a bad pain flare-up? That's fine. Do you need anything for the pain? I took ibuprofen, but it doesn't help. It's your hip? Hip and lower back, locked and swollen. Do you want me to bring you an ice pack? It can reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Ice makes mine worse, unfortunately. Also, I think maybe I should wait until next movie night. Aside from the hip pain, I just don't feel up to it since I've been cramping from the monostat. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, you will be missed. Do you need to go to the hospital? The cramping is sadly normal with Monostat. It's also caused bleeding, but I should be fine. Okay, stay strong. So, I did not want to believe it, but it has become clear to me now that Spencer is dishonest. While making these allegations, she acted nice towards me, and I genuinely thought we were friends this whole time. You'll see here, when I found out about the allegations, I thought she was being impersonated. No, someone shared my post about needing help to send Belfie to North Carolina for his foster and training, and she was under the assumption it was something like that, so called it a domestic situation. I corrected her, but I guess Reddit saw before that and ran with it as she got a message from a backdated FB profile with AI-generated profile pictures saying this shit. I see. Would you be okay to put out a statement on your YouTube? Just letting everyone know you're okay. You don't have to be specific unless you want to. I'd rather not, as it'll only fuel them more. They don't care, they just want to speculate. Someone on my friends list is doing this as the messages mention my cooking from when I moved in, and I just want to disappear from the internet altogether now. I spent too much energy panicking about it last night, and I can't afford to put any more into it. She did not tell me about it, by the way. I say something, they'll probe harder, and I don't want my family more at risk than they already are. I'm sorry. I felt she was lying to me, so I sent her a picture of the message from the person who made the Facebook post asking for the donations. And I've talked to her a lot. She told me she was in a domestic violence situation, she's been starving off and on for a long time and needs to get home. So, I don't know. I think she's struggling and trying to get out of a situation. I never told anyone there was domestic violence. I never once said that. I was struggling because my mental health was faltering and I couldn't afford food for a long time. Again, this is misconstrued. I already explained what I told her, she chose to use those words, and again, I tried correcting her when I found out, as I didn't know that's what she assumed. Okay, well in these situations, it's best to put out a brief written statement to correct the narrative. If you don't want to, then you don't have to.
Cutaway?
But keeping me from speaking... Okay, well in these situations, it's best to put out
just her celebrating the goal getting met on the fundraiser.
Brief written statement to correct the narrative. If you don't want to, then you don't have to. But keeping me from speaking up for myself is only going to cause more problems. Staying silent is what destroyed us, and this will blow up regardless. And it did. I've already been discharged from my volunteer work because of this shit, and I'd rather not lose more. How do you want to proceed? This next message she sends is one of the most disrespectful and ignorant things I've ever read, so I'm going to stop every now and then to reply to what she's saying. You can't put out a fire with a fire. So I never ask her to put out a fire with a fire. I just ask her to make a statement that she is okay and none of the rumors are true. But I didn't realize until later that she wanted people to believe I am a bad person who is starving her and domestically abusing her. And at this point, maybe it's better not to work with kids if you know people are going to do shit like that. I know it sucks, but you should cut your losses because nothing will stop them from doing the same in the future. So what she is telling me is to just give up on my career path in advocacy due to the problems that have happened because I chose to believe in her story and help her.
Okay.
Judging from what Michael saw on the Reddit, the volunteer thing
presentation there. No, retard, the problems weren't just because you choose to be with her, it's because all your videos are fucking terrible, you idiot. Come on now.
Before they said anything about me. Actually, no. People are not going to change their mind. They'll take it as you doubling down again, and it will make things worse. You've been through this before. You should know that better than anyone that this will hurt us both. So this is not true. I know better than anyone that you guys, the audience, just want to know the truth. But it is very difficult to get the truth out there when there are hundreds of other YouTubers giving you different stories, claiming that they are the truth. Especially when some of them have much larger audiences than your own. But what Spencer doesn't understand is that you have to keep going. If you stop uploading, the truth will just become whatever is out there. If you ignore them, they will go away, but you have to give that time. You're always so impatient to put something out the moment someone says something. I just wanted to upload a podcast and a documentary. That is all I wanted. And after waiting almost a year, I felt it was time to start uploading again. Apparently that makes me so impatient to get something out there, I guess. Let them have baseless claims. You can find better sources of income. Just don't do anything publicized, and they can't try to do things like get you put out of a job. So this is not anywhere close to true. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Just because you stop doing anything publicly does not mean people will stop stalking you. In fact, it makes it worse because the stalkers are empowered by your silence. The only way to stop stalkers is to shine a light on them by reporting them to the police, telling your local community, and informing your social media that you are being stalked, which is also what you have been doing. I don't understand why you'd want to try to be public again after everything that...
Whinging about being quote-unquote stalked. You didn't get fucking stalked, bro. That was... well, I mean... You kind of got like a pseudo dox thing. His workplace got doxed or something, you could say. It wasn't by YouTubers, really. It's fucking retarded Redditors posting your place you were volunteering at. Which, I mean, pretty much everyone said was fucked. Pretty sure me and Chud, I don't know about anyone else, I'm pretty sure both me and Chud said at the time that it was fucked to go after him volunteeringly. He was probably better off there than he is on the internet. I think that was... Yeah, and Chud's chat was having like a vicious emotional reaction to it. I didn't watch any other coverage, so I don't know what anyone else said, but pretty much, as far as I remember, it was, yeah, no one was on board with fucking up Max's volunteer shit. Muta and Nick agreed too? Alright, fair enough. Well then, yeah, it seems like pretty much everyone was on board. Don't fuck with Max's volunteer shit. It's better to let him move on and do something that actually helps kids than be stuck on the internet behaving like a fucking doxing, you know, violence inciting retard.
That's happened. If it's as traumatizing for you as you said, you wouldn't keep adding fuel like this because, like it or not, that's what you'll be doing. I can't believe she would say something like this, being that people were harassing her, saying if she was actually as traumatized by the events of her own life as much as she claims, she wouldn't keep talking about it online. She is using the exact same victim-blaming logic that was used against her to try and keep me from using my platform and my voice. If you say something about the woman, you'd be putting her at risk of harassment too, and that's the last thing she needs. They found her easily. So at no point do I say we need to mention that woman that made the post.
Oh, I have not a single show this whole stream, by the way, so we need to do that right now. Okay, guys. We've got 450 people here right now. 74 likes on stream. Some of those 400 people wouldn't mind please moving their cursor, thumbs up and clicking it, or pressing a thumbs up on the mobile device. That'd be hugely appreciated. Now, if you want to take your support one step further, you can do it directly through a stream elements link in the pin chat message. You can also buy a membership to the channel, gift a membership to the channel, gift a whole bunch of memberships randomly throughout the chat, buy a super chat which will highlight your message and read it on TTS, or buy a super sticker which is a YouTube image or GIF that will be highlighted in chat, and I'll describe it to you. You can go to discord.gg/Kuihman, twitter.com/Kuihman, or reddit.com/r/Kuihman. You can also now watch every day. We multi-stream on twitch.tv/Kuihman. And guys, we've got a huge push right now for active engagement. Okay? So post like hell. Okay? Make a Twitter account. Be on Twitter. Be posting on Reddit. Be linking your tweets and your Reddit posts in my Discord and in wherever. Post everywhere all the time. And always be clipping. Okay? ABC, always be clipping. There's a guide on how to clip stuff on my subreddit. You can go check that out.
I was about to buy McDonald's, but then I saw that fat lady and now I'm not going to.
Thank you for the $7.99, Jakub. Huge appreciate. Thank you. So, guys, very important you remember this stuff. Very, very, very important.
The one who is responsible for all of this is you, Spencer. I don't care what the internet has to say, and after what they did to you, you shouldn't either. This is trivial in the grand scheme of things, and I want zero part, zero mention. I don't exist in this BS internet world anymore. So at first, I wanted to respect her privacy. I don't even feel good about exposing her like this, and that is why I've chosen to be silent for so long.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I ordered 5,000 calories from Taco Bell.
Thank you. Thank you for the dono.
Even after she continually makes claims that blow up, all they want to do is hurt people. I know you know it's true. There are some people who want to hurt people, and there are a lot of them on that subreddit that I tried warning her about. But most people just want to understand what is going on. And when you do things like make inflammatory allegations, they're gonna want to know what is true and what is not about what you said. And if you don't get the message out there, someone else will. Please understand that this isn't just about you, and you need to do what's best for everyone in this situation. And what's best is to not egg it on. On the contrary, Spencer, you need to understand that this isn't just about you. Now that I have seen firsthand the claims she is willing to make just to victimize herself in a situation where me and my roommates were all working together just to take care of her, this raises a very important question. Was she lying about Camden and the cult?
Oh, shit.
When I first interviewed Spencer, I thought she was one of the bravest and strongest people I have ever met. I was inspired by her story and wanted to do everything in my power to ensure this case gets the attention it deserves.
Max, please. Max.
I failed in doing that. And I am so sorry to all of the survivors.
Thank you.
Whether Spencer lied about her experiences, I have no idea. All I know is that Spencer was one of the first to speak up about it. She was willing enough to admit to crimes, and there are a growing number of victims who can substantiate the cult's existence with their own testimonies and evidence. Many of the stories you have heard by some very influential YouTubers are not true, and I will go into more detail as time goes on. For now, I still believe this case warrants an investigation by law enforcement, as we have tried reporting many times.
Okay, what's going on there, ma'am?
So an individual named Camden Gerard Davis, more than likely resides at this, address. We believe that he is trafficking minors and has child on his devices. I'm actually a previous victim of his, and I have, substantial evidence related to this case.
But the evidence sucked. The evidence sucked. Dude, this was so hard. This is actually just one of the hardest videos. Fan cams go crazy. Can we be serious? Fan cams go absolutely crazy. It's just like, you know, hosts.
I strongly believe Camden was a victim to big back manipulation.
Thank you, John, for the $5. Thank you.
Such as a report that was filed back in 2017 against him, but was never investigated. And do you have an address, an email address where I could send those PDF files?
Those PDF
I'll have to
files?
put you through to a deputy in order to do that, ma'am. What's your phone number?
But from what I have heard, nothing has been done. Regardless, I still hope Spencer and the rest of the survivors find justice one day. How do you feel about losing your job at the children's outreach thing?
Yo, I know Clever. Wait, I know Clever Nugget. Clever Nugget comes into this chat, right? I've seen this person before, right?
How do you feel about losing your job at the children's outreach thing? So for those of you that don't know, I was volunteering with an organization known as CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates for Children. It is a great organization that teaches people how to advocate for children in the United States legal system as a guardian ad litem. You are essentially a free social worker who interviews children, their families, teachers, doctors, and everyone who has information on the child's life in order to serve their best interests in a court of law. I highly recommend volunteering if you are interested in children's advocacy or the legal system. I was doing all of this privately, but unfortunately a group of cyber stalkers found me in the Casa of El Paso Instagram page, and my stalkers proceeded to harass this organization, posting their emails and phone numbers, encouraging everyone to spam them with the drama surrounding me in an attempt to get me discharged. This was picked up by DramaTubers, which caused even more people to harass this organization until they were forced to let me go in an attempt to make the harassment stop. That
apparently
broke my
Moot
heart,
disavowed though.
but I learned a lot, which was organization, until they were forced to let me go in an attempt to make the harassment stop. That broke my heart, but I learned a lot, which was the point of joining, and I'm very grateful for my training and experience doing so. If you care about children so much, why not get education, certifications, and a real job in advocacy? I did. Instead of being an unprofessional YouTuber filmmaker with all these unnecessary edits. Education and, like you said, certifications are vitally important. And that is what I'm actively doing, is still seeking education. I don't want to just be a YouTuber the rest of my life. I would like to resolve all of this online stuff first, since clearly I cannot just go get a job without people harassing wherever I'm working. How much money do you plan to donate to the charity you posted?
I don't think I believe
If
him there. I think he would come back to YouTube in a fucking heartbeat if he felt like he was making money off it. But sure.
Donate, will you match? I'll actually match the current amount of donations. If you want to donate, you can match my donation. But moreover, I think the people who covered this video and did not donate any of their ad revenue to this organization should match my donation. Because these people talk, but they hardly
anything
ever put
to
their
make
money where
Muta.
their
You know
mouth
what,
is.
Max? I agree. Anything that takes money out of Mutahar's pocket, I'm on board with.
I seem to be the only one doing that. Do you really think you can return to this content after getting exposed for faking most of your career? I would barely trust you to do scented candle reviews. That's really funny. Maybe I should do that. Scented candle reviews. Could it just be that I'm being honest and people are still saying it's a lie? Is that possible? I guess not. I guess I'm always a liar. But
Have you noticed that he moves his mouth? He tries to hide his teeth with his lips at all time because they're like jagged out of line.
Always a liar, then that was a lie. This is the difficulty of being defamed, because no one's going to believe what you have to say. Everyone's going to think you're the fraud, manipulating, lying piece of shit that everyone's calling you. And it's an uphill battle. There's a great quote. It's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled. So, yeah. It's going to be an uphill battle for me. But I think I've figured out the right way to go about all of this. Lilac and gooseberries. 9 out of 10. Maybe next time be the vigilante and go after them since you got the sources instead of role-playing justice. Justice is very difficult. I can do my best. I can show what is happening on these platforms like IMVU. I can document all of the recorded evidence of my interactions with these predators and send it to my people who upload it to these mega drives. We all collaborate on sending this information to law enforcement. And when nothing is done, we make a video about it on YouTube showing what these predators did. I know a lot of people are blaming me for the predators not getting arrested, but I am not an officer of the law. I'm not a judge. We have to look to the mechanisms that are enabling predators to walk free and the mechanisms that prevent children from reporting crimes. These are the real issues here. I know my adversaries want to make it seem like MamaMax is the issue. I do not control these systems. What's your actual plan for systematic...
retard, you're a huge part of the issue because you contribute to a feeling from people that you can just go around hunting pedophiles and that does something. When, no, if you actually, like you're laying out here, like you're realizing a little bit here, no, the issue is the legal mechanisms, the police, the laws, the courts. Those are the places you need to be looking, and those are the places you need to be analyzing and saying like, okay, what's the problem? What do we need to change? Because that's what's actually going to, on a systemic level cause something to happen. Just going around, you can endlessly go around going, oh, I baited a pedophile in Omegle. I baited a pedophile in IMVU. I baited a pedophile. It doesn't do anything. You're not actually doing anything there. You're not even making a dent. Most fucking child sexual abuse happens from someone that knows the child. So it's not even going to be fucking, like, you're targeting what? Already a minority of cases. And you're not even making a dent in that. Nice one, retard.
Radically changing how sex crimes against children are prosecuted. I'm sure there's people much smarter than me who have policies and systems that can truly make a difference. And I'm going to go ahead and play some of them.
We're economically attacking the young, but I know, let's attack their emotional and mental well-being. Let's take advantage of the fact of the flaws in our species with medieval institutions, Paleolithic instincts, and godlike technology. I'm just going to say, I think Mark Zuckerberg has done more damage to young people in our nation while making more money than any person in history. Oh, but wait, what could be worse? It's as if we let an adversary implant a neural jack into our youth to raise a generation of civic, military, and business leaders that hate America. All right, this all adds up to a bunch of graphs all headed up into the right. And what are they? What's the first one? Oh, that's self-harm rates, which have exploded, especially among girls, since my colleague Jonathan Haidt pointed out it's really gone crazy since social went on mobile. What's the next one? Teens with depression. The next one, men and women not having sex. Next graph, cumulative gun deaths. You're more likely to be shot in the United States if you're a toddler or an infant than a cop. Next graph, obesity. Overdose deaths, way up. Deaths of despair. When I was in high school, it was drunk driving. Now it's kids killing themselves. We got the hard stuff figured out. There are programs to address all of these issues that cost a lot of money. That's the hard part. We have the money, but we decide not to do it. This is per capita spending on childcare in the United States relative to other nations. We need to remove 230 protection for all algorithmically elevated content.
So just a quick explanation. Section 230 protects platforms.
Wait, no, this is based. Wait, no, I was like, okay, this is cringe. No, this is based. No, this is W content. WMax, good little thing that you put in here, actually. No, this is based.
Platforms from being held liable for user-posted content. So let's use an infamous teen dating app as an example. Despite the fact that they have a massive child predator problem, they can't be held liable.
It just made me groan a bit, being like, oh, it's like we got an enemy, like the whole like enemy force TikTok China thing. It's like, I get the point you make. It just makes me like groan, you know. Like, but no, that was based. Listen. Stop, Max, if he wants to do something about this stuff, yeah, stop talking about stop doing like retarded Alex Rosen, not even Alex Rosen, LARP pedo hunt shit. And talk about this stuff. Yeah, retard. That's what you should have been doing in the first place.
For the crimes that are being committed on their platform, and thus have no incentive to fix the issues, except for reputational damage when someone exposes them. If Section 230 could be corrected to specifically hold platforms accountable if they are perpetuating crimes, then that would only push platforms to prevent crimes against children on their services. I know you asked specifically about prosecution, but prevention is infinitely more important to me. So, yeah. Why do you think basic criticism of you is mass psychosis? I don't. I am just explaining a reality we are dealing with on the internet.
But this is why I hate the commentary community sometimes. Like, I legitimately, like, fucking hate some of these people. Because it's always like, well, a lot of people went with this, right? Sure, I understand how a lot of people can get something wrong, but, like, there are also people in this space who are absolutely happy to be, like, wrong, as long as it's financially lucrative. I can't make a follow-up video because is why I hate the commentary community.
Did Max cook?
I'm just explaining a reality
Let's
we
go
are
Team
dealing
Maxi
with
Pad.
on the internet.
Thank you for
But
the
this
$5.
is why I hate the commentary community sometimes. Like, I legitimately, like, fucking hate some of these people. Because it's always like, well, a lot of people went with this, right? Sure, I understand how a lot of people can get something wrong, but, like, there are also people in this space who are absolutely happy to be like wrong as long as it's financially lucrative. I can't make a follow-up video because it won't get any views to correct the thing that I personally fucked up, right? So they're not incentivized to correct anything or tell the truth. They're incentivized to do what people want to click on. And if there's a jerk wave going on, well, people are going to want to click on the negative video. So that's what drives me crazy. There's like a fucking incestuous commentary community right now.
Wait. No, my name was there. No. Max. Fuck.
Well, people are going to want to click on the negative video. So that's what drives me crazy. There's like a fucking incestuous commentary community right now that is a for-profit misinformation machine or whatever. And then whenever it gets called out, they all have like a huge pity party for themselves. Oh my God, I can't believe this turnaround. What? Wow, this plot twist is crazy. Guys, we really got to be better at this in the future. It's like, no, it's a for-profit misinformation machine.
For someone that's a...
I agree. I couldn't agree more, frankly.
A for-profit misinformation machine. That was well said, Nicholas Diorio. That's what I'm trying to say about mass psychosis, is that we're believing all of these things that aren't real.
We are still talking about mostly conversations that we've had, 4 years ago about spread of misinformation, things like that. The rate and acceleration of new kinds of threats, new kinds of issues, the growth rate of that is growing far faster than the growth rate of our capacity to mitigate or respond to those threats. I was speaking with someone in the fact-checking network who said, there's now 200 billion messages a day going through WhatsApp, 15 billion going through Facebook. They get about 100 fact checks per day. If you think about a bank being over leveraged and how much risk are they, how far over their skis are they? We've got about 200 billion to 100 in terms of scale of information that's running through a system without moderation, with, as Senator Sass said, the decentralized incentive for yellow journalism. If it bleeds, it leads. It wants to make each of us into yellow journalists because we each get more rewarded the more extreme things that we say. And
exactly. This is what I'm trying to say to you guys. Post like hell. Always be clipping, okay?
Of information that's...
You hearing this?
We've got about 200 billion to 100 in terms of scale of information that's running through a system without moderation, with, as Senator Sass said, the decentralized incentive for yellow journalism. If it bleeds, it leads. It wants to make each of us into yellow journalists because we each get more rewarded the more extreme things that we say in an inadvertent way. So in this subtle way, in this very slow climate change of culture kind of way, just by 2%, increasing the kind of outrageousness of what you're saying, the sensationalism.
This is happening, and you have to be at the forefront of it, okay? You have to be pushing this to its limits.
A few more likes, you get a few more hits, and so you keep doing it, and suddenly that heats up the global conversation and has us not even recognize our fellow Americans as fellow Americans.
There's also more than just criticism.
A mass psychosis is an epidemic of madness, and it occurs when a large portion of a society loses touch with reality and descends into delusions. Such a phenomenon is not a thing of fiction.
We are controlled by the algorithms that push us one way or another.
Social media divides us, makes us more extreme and less empathetic. It riles us up or sucks us into doom scrolling, making us stressed.
Whoa. Using cursing, doesn't this get struck? I don't know if you...
Just a fact.
Take it easy, man.
Well, there are concerns about misinformation. We should... Just like when people raised other concerns in the past and we try to deal with them. Okay, yeah, people no, if you ask people, no one says that they want misinformation. So maybe there's something that we should do to basically try to address this. But I was really worried from the beginning about basically becoming this sort of decider of what is true in the world. Or that's like kind of a crazy position to be in for billions of people using your service.
He has such black, soulless eyes, man. It's so crazy.
Position to be in for billions of people using your service.
That is simply what we are dealing with. Was the call between you, Muda, and Diorio just an auditory hallucination we all experienced during mass psychosis? No, it wasn't. However...
I'm tired of the drama chatter mentality where if somebody doesn't say exactly what you want in the exact words that you would say it in a situation that's tense for them that you probably couldn't possibly comprehend, oh, well, he asked for it. oh, well, he could have said this. I think that, like, some chatters think that these situations are a lot simpler than they are, like they actually are in real life. And there's like other things that are working at play other than like our veil of hindsight that we use to dictate what should or shouldn't have been said.
There's Nick arguing for empathy on his live stream. Nick saying you shouldn't be bad faith towards people. You shouldn't clip people out of context to be bad faith and mock them for saying insane things. Guys, learn some empathy. Stop going after people so hard.
Probably couldn't possibly comprehend. Oh, well, he asked for it. Oh, well, he could have said this. I think that, like, some chatters think that these situations are a lot simpler than they are, like they actually are in real life. And there's like other things that are working at play other than like our veil of hindsight that we use to dictate what should or shouldn't have been said.
And for that reason, I'm going to clarify what I say in that call. Since there's so much to cover, I'll be going over the call in another video. However, it's important to note that we entered into this call under false pretenses. Mutahar made it seem like he was going to do everything in his power to present the situation with objectivity and the justice it deserves. And instead, he chose to breach his NDA again, leaking the call to the public without our consent, and drunkenly dogpiling us with his commentary buddies, breaking multiple
I left. I'm not one of the commentary buddies. That ain't me.
Community guidelines in the process.
You're breaking the YouTube community guidelines right now? Max, come on. Max, you made videos calling for violence against people. What are you talking about right now, bro?
Breaking multiple YouTube community guidelines in the process, which caused both cyberbullying and cyberstalking against me and the survivors of Camden.
The entire...
Sorry, I shouldn't say calling for... I don't know if he ever directly called for violence. He flashed pictures of a house, some predator's house, and then flashed backwards and forwards of him gearing up with like a baseball bat wrapped in nails and it like bloody, and like implied that you should go to this guy's house.
And I'm tired of pretending it's not.
Thank you for the $7.99 Jakub.
Removed, and the risk for infection is almost guaranteed at that point. So that's where a bit of, you know, obviously, I'm sure you've read the Reddit. I'm sure you've read the people critical of the situation, and this is.
You know how bad I wanted to just be like, bitch. Have you read the Farms thread? Have you read what they've been saying?
Well, we just fucking did like 3 seconds ago. I was fucking reading it while we're streaming. Jesus.
In fact, I would encourage all of you to try watching that video.
Oh, no, KF.
With
fresh
eyes, and convince yourself that this is not a symptom of mass psychosis. Once again, though, since there's so much to cover about that call, I'll be doing that on another video. MamaMax, are you still going to end Charlie? Why did anyone think I was being serious in that video? Just behaving like a genuine piece of shit. I liked Charlie.
I like MamaMax.
And I felt he could do a lot of justice for this case. Understandably, Charlie was not happy about...
No, he was. I don't think he was being particularly serious in that video. It was like, the thing is that, he's like playing up a character in the video for sure. He's like kind of like being a character, but when you're already making like videos slandering people as pedophiles, it's like, well, I mean, let's say you take that little joke or that little performance a little bit further. Like, I mean, you probably would just do that, to be honest.
About this, and during a live stream, he vented to his audience.
We talked. Like,
I'm saying it means you're semi-serious. There's a point he's getting. He's being crazy in service of a point he thinks he's making. He's playing like a character, you know?
A month ago, about like what he was working on in his investigation. And then apparently when I had COVID, he messaged me a couple times and I never saw it. And now he's taken that as me ghosting him and ignoring his very important mission. And it really rubs me the wrong way. instead of just he jumping to the most extreme possible explanation for me not seeing it, which is really fucking cringe. That did make me upset. There. Yeah, that really rubbed me the wrong way. I had COVID, and I barely used Discord in the first place. It was a miracle I ever even saw his message to begin with. And then I spent 12 days not doing anything online in bed. And during that time, apparently, it changed his whole framing of the video in order to make it like a Trojan horse of cancel critical, because he didn't respond to my messages and ghosted me. So yeah, that did rub me the wrong way. Good intentions, but I did not like that.
I can see now that he felt blindsided and hurt, which is fair. However,
we don't care. Fuck
to lay
critical.
out the facts. I reached out to Charlie on October 23rd, giving him a brief rundown of my
Fuck critical. Let's hear it, Max.
current project. He responds 25 minutes later, claiming he hasn't done reaction streams or react content in about a year. I respond 5 minutes later that he doesn't need to react to my video, but I would like to invite him to our group chat with other influencers so we can establish a direct line of communication between everyone involved about my project in case anyone has any questions or concerns once everything goes down. He doesn't reply, so I follow up with him the next day, apologizing for my sense of urgency, but I truly felt this project warrants his attention given what the survivors have told me. He replies an hour later apologizing and agreeing to take a look. I send him the NDA that he promptly signs. In the group chat,
he said his name in Discord.
One of the survivors explains the cult with some evidence. We share her videos and that she is open to answering questions. This is when Charlie stops replying completely and claims that he was sick. But Charlie was active and engaging online during this same period. I don't mind if he was too busy or had no interest in my project, but just be honest about that.
Hey.
True, very true, Max. Great point, Max. Charlie is a disgusting reptile, isn't he? I agree, Max. He is a disgusting lying reptile, I agree.
Hey, you'll never guess who just got COVID again. Not this guy. No, yeah, I'm just pulling your leg. It is me. Look hard into my piercing blue eyes, and you'll notice that my soul is finally back in my body.
3 days. He said 12.
Better, so I thought I'd celebrate by watching some more horrible pickup artistry attempts on TikTok.
So according to his own uploads, Charlie had COVID from October 30th to November 2nd. 4 days out of 12 that he claimed he was not doing anything online.
And then I spent 12 days not doing anything online in bed. And I barely used Discord in the first place. It was a miracle I ever even saw his message to begin with.
I followed up with him over the course of that month, which many people claim is me spurging out and spamming him. But from my understanding, following up with a colleague every few days is perfectly normal in most professional settings, especially after they've agreed to take a look on what you've been working on. And I just wanted to keep him in the loop. But hindsight is 20/20. I agree that this is a bit much. I will admit that I drafted these messages with ChatGPT.
See, W introspection from Max here. This was probably a bit much. We love Max. We love Max.
It came off as professional, when in reality it's way too robotic, long-winded, and heavy-handed. Now I'd like to clarify that I was never spiteful or angry with Charlie, and I try to make that as apparent as possible in the video and the description. I built this video with the survivors from the ground up, because we truly had faith that Charlie would help us. After I upload the artificial drama, he finally responds and explains why he was inactive. I respond to him the next day, apologizing and asking if we can just get in a 30-minute call so I can explain myself and find a resolution that is beneficial for all parties involved. We set up the call with him, me, and the survivor. We had a respectful conversation. He was very understanding and kind. And we conclude the call by just requesting if he can listen to the survivors for 15 minutes to see if this story is worth his time. And he agreed, only requesting that Mutahar, out of all people, was to be present. I told him that I already invited Mutahar, but he is welcome to invite anyone else. We said goodbye, and we felt good about our conversation. After that call, I invited him to the server.
All the worst people you know are best friends. It's so crazy. Mutahar and Charlie and Nux and Tectone and Asmongold and...
He never joined, and then nothing.
Wendigo.
No follow-up, no response. We have waited
These
for
guys are
over
all
a year
friends.
now, and he still hasn't said anything about it since then. This was never supposed to be about me or Charlie. It was supposed to be about the survivors who deserved to have their stories heard. And unfortunately, the situation ended up silencing them even further. I don't blame Charlie for this, but I do think he could have helped, and he chose not to. When did you stop stalking and harassing? So just a quick recap, I have multiple ex-partners that have accused me of some pretty horrible things. I made a video addressing this. I did not go into too much detail.
Yeah, can you rehash that video, please? Can you rehash that video? Can you rehash all the fucking lies you saw in that video and that edited call and all that crazy shit?
I just tried to answer what I felt was necessary, but out of respect for their privacy, I would prefer to leave them alone, just as I would prefer for them to leave me alone. But in short, these relationships were not healthy, and they did not end well. I did my best to be kind and take...
Wendigoon is a completely dishonest hack who, in his video about the Waco siege, presents David Koresh's lawyer's testimony to completely indict the ATF and the feds on basically everything for starting the fire, without stating that he's using David Koresh's lawyer's testimony. He just plays the testimony and acts like that's the story. It's one of the most dishonest, wretched pieces of propaganda that is disguised as, like, in any way impartial or factual. And people just eat it up. Everyone just acts like Wendigoon does amazing research, and multiple of his videos have insane discrepancies that are purely there to push his narrative. That's the only reason they're there, is because he has a narrative about the way he needs that historical event to have gone down to justify his political ideology, and so he changes the story.
Take care of them when they were struggling, but it didn't work out in the end for many reasons. But when these relationships ended, I guess since I have a platform and to deplatform me, some of them have continued doing this for multiple years, and over the years their stories have changed. They delete old allegations and create new ones. There is one, however, that filed police reports against me almost a decade ago with inaccurate information while I was in a completely separate part of the country, some of which even say there is no evidence for these reports. But I think it's important to note that I'm not getting in group chats with their ex-partners and sharing pictures and videos of them.
Jakub, you are a completely brain-dead fucking retard if you are in any way contesting this. Wendigoon showed David Koresh's lawyer his testimony without any explanation of whose testimony that was. You fucking idiot. That is beyond dishonest. And he didn't present any of the other evidence. He didn't present the fact that an independent arson committee investigated it and found that it was started by the Branch Davidians. Literally presented no evidence. That is the most dishonest, wretched video. Your take on Waco is unnuanced. Your take on Waco is unnuanced. It was a show of government force when they were taking this guy's child brides away.
Including their uncensored driver's license. I'm not repeatedly going on live streams to make accusations about them. I'm not going on social media obsessively gossiping about them and fantasizing about murdering
And guess what?
them.
The government should show force to demonstrate that it's not okay to stockpile weapons, ammunition, and kids you're raping in a compound with plans for doomsday. Yeah, the government should show up and say, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Cut that out.
I'm not going on kiwi farms and doxing them and their families shortly before doxing them to the rest of YouTube. But they are doing all of that to me.
is apparently Max is telling everybody that Anthony is like running the kiwi farms thing, and there is like no evidence to support that Anthony is like the person who doxed him on kiwi farms or posted all that stuff. I haven't seen a single thing, a shred of proof that shows that.
Claiming Anthony Magnetar is the one running the kiwi farms.
Yeah, and that seems to be really upsetting him because he reached out about me that specifically.
So I'm gonna say it right now, and this is the I'm not doing this because it's like I'm trying to pay back Anthony after what, like, me making a statement. It's actually impossible. Let me explain why it's retarded to assume anybody could be running a f***ing thread. You don't have any proof.
I mean, theoretically, it could just be a coincidence that Kiwi Farms got my full docs, which was previously unknown, while they were working on their video, which just so happens to have a picture of me from our high school yearbook, and some of the exact same videos that appear in their video that I didn't even know existed until they were posting them. And then when I respond just to defend myself...
Okay, so it happened around the same time. Like, that's exactly what I mean. I hope anyone that has blamed Snark for whatever happening with Ethan was also blaming Magnetar for this, because if it happens around the same time and the same people hate the person, then everyone's responsible. So I hope everyone else's coverage reflects that.
Existed until they were posting them. And then when I respond just to defend myself, they claim I am the one doxing and harassing them, even though their full names were already public and mine was not, which has put my entire family at risk. But apparently they are the innocent victims, and I am the crazy stalker. Even though I would prefer to have nothing to do with them.
Unironically, yeah, you did some fucking insane shit and you completely lied about your exes in that video.
Even the one on screen right now, I have never dated. I have not even seen her since high school.
Yes, we know you didn't date Haley when she was just your fucking friend in high school. You still did insane shit to her.
Over 10 years ago. And she is still somehow following me and talking about me. And it is very disturbing. I have dated plenty of women that don't do this, but these few still do. So I'm not really sure what one is supposed to do at this point. If I make videos on each of them...
How about you go back over your old video? How about you go back over your old response?
To excruciating detail about my side, I would be putting them at risk of harassment, which I do not want. But if I don't say anything and let them keep following me and talking about me, they're just gonna keep ruining my life, and people are gonna think I'm hiding
They're allowed to talk about you, retard. Show how they're lying if they're lying.
So I just decided to report them to the police and document any further harassment.
That'll get them.
Do you wipe or just let it crust? Bidet all the way. How many drugs are you on right now? I'm caffeinated, so 1. Where did you get the audacity? Sourceforge.net? When will you delete your channel? Probably never.
Wow. Stupid fucking joke. I suddenly hate this guy completely. This guy is actually the worst person ever.
Sourceforge.net? When will you delete your channel? Probably never. Why are you back? Get off the internet. It's probably healthier for all of us to get off the internet. And yet we're all still here. Sadly. Why are you so weird, bro? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. Maybe if you could, divulge a little bit, I could answer better. If you mean personality-wise, it might have to do with my autism. I do have ASD. If you mean my content, why is my content so weird? Autism. I do have ASD. If you mean my content, it might
there's a video like this of Bo. Has anyone seen the video like that of Bo Blacks? Has anyone seen the video like that of Bo Blacks that he posted on Twitter where he's like a little kid rocking his head back and forward?
I could answer better. If you mean personality-wise, it might have to do with my autism. I do have ASD. If you mean my content, why is my content so weird? I don't know. On YouTube, it felt right to be a little performative. But I can see retrospectively that people see it as cringe or like unhinged, as a lot of people call it. It's just like, I don't know. I thought we were here to perform and make weird art projects. I didn't know that we just had to be, you just have to be yourself. Did you have a nervous breakdown?
Seen that person around a lot as well. Again, it's not just a matter of being like performative. Like again, the doxing shit. Like, dude, this guy put up pictures of a guy's house. I don't care if he was a pedophile. Put up pictures of a guy's house and was flashing backwards and forwards with a bloodied baseball bat, being like, "We're coming for you." You're insane, dude. You can't do that. You can't do vigilante violence encouragement videos on public platforms. Sorry, retard.
You just have to be yourself. Did you have a nervous breakdown? But seriously, did I? I don't think so. I know people are calling my my Mommy Z skit mental breakdown to make me look insane.
Larry's
but that's the character. I'm playing a commentary channel that thinks he's better than everybody else. Like you could literally, like I start the entire skit with like an unhinged. I thought that would get the message across. I guess not though. Just to note, he's deleting comments, even though I'm just tuning into this video. I asked about the multiple documentaries and the events that we all watched happen, and poof. So YouTube has this thing where it deletes comments on its own. That could be what's happening here. He's deleting replies. If I was deleting replies,
yeah,
you
I know,
think
everyone knows this, and everyone knows that retards say this on every video. Yep,
I would also
this is so
never
gay
done-
and stupid.
Why
No one cares.
people feel like you owe them something? You deserve to be and do whatever it is that you love. People are too judgmental. Please continue to be who you are. You're the first video I watched today. As soon as I looked at my phone this morning, all you can do
This
is
is an
try.
AI message.
Upload video.
Bot
Those that
message.
have always believed in what you're doing will be here for you. That is really heartwarming. It's
That's a
sad
bot
you
message,
only have
bro.
one thumbs up.
That's a bot.
Here, I'll give you another. Thank you. I'm grateful for people like you who can see what I'm trying to do. And that's all I can do is just keep trying and continue to be who you are. Despite all the hate and hostility on the internet, you still managed
Fuck
to
the
shine
haters.
through. And I'm very grateful for you. Please respond, Max, because what breed is your dog? It's the cutest. Thank you. So I have 4 very
Bro,
good
I
dogs
don't care
that I
about your
love with
fucking
all-
dog. Okay, is the whole rest about his dog? It is, isn't it? Oh my god.